Chapter 1923. Under the continuous attacks, Shi Jingtian had no way of defending himself. It was as if the person in front of him was not an immortal, but a very powerful immortal king. A sense of helplessness rose in his heart. Facing Jiangqin, he even wanted to put down the stone hammer in his hand and admit defeat. It's all settled. After a while, Yunbing swept in front of Jiangqin. She tidied up her messy hair and said to Jiangqin, "How ruthless! Not even a chicken or dog was spared." Looking at the thousands of people lying on the ground, Jiangqin could not help but smack his lips and sigh. Anyone who dares to betray the Yunshi sect will face such a consequence. Letting them die so easily is already giving them face. Yunbing's expression was cold. How should we deal with him? Jiangqin pointed at Shi Jingtian, who was in a daze. Of course. Kill him too. Yunbing stretched out her hand and wrapped him in the silk satin. All the elders and disciples in the sect were killed, and he was severely injured by Jiangqin. Other than being extremely shocked, Shi Jingtian also lost the intention to continue fighting with Jiangqin. He knew that no matter what, he was no match for the two people in front of him. The more he struggled, the more painful it would be. It would be better to have a quick death. Boom! A muffled sound could be heard from the silk satin. When it scattered, Shi Jingtian, who was inside, had completely lost his vitality. From today onwards, the Yunshi sect will no longer exist in the immortal world. Yunbing did not hide the disappointment in her voice. The Yunshi sect had been so good to these sections. They had provided them with immortal skills, medical books, and elixir pills. They had even helped them solve their problems several times. Who would have thought that in the end, they would end up like this? What about the other sects? Looking at Shi Jingtian, who was already dead, Jiangqin asked. Kill them all. Leave no one alive. Yunbing's killing intent had already enveloped her body. Jiangqin, who was standing beside her, could clearly feel it. Listen to Master Yunbing. Jiangqin cupped his fists at her. When Jiangqin and Yunbing left the city, the other sects that had left the Yunshi sect also received the news. The sect leaders of the major sects immediately gathered together. They looked at the cultivators who had escaped from the city. Is it true? The sect masters did not believe him. After all, the Yunshi sect had always treated them well during the years they had been attached to it. Even if they had done something wrong, they had never been blamed. Therefore, when they learned that the Cloudstone sect had separated from the Yunshi sect, they all followed one after another. One of them was that they were certain that the Yunshi sect would not do anything to them. However, the news brought by these cultivators had indeed shattered their fantasies. The sect masters looked at each other in dismay. They were flustered. They knew that even if they combined their forces, they would not be able to compete with the Yunshi sect. It's true. Master Yunbing and a young man from the Yunshi sect have arrived at the Cloudstone sect. When we left, almost everyone in the sect was killed by the two of them. Only the Shi Jingtian sect was holding on. However, looking at the situation, I'm afraid that even the sect leader would not be able to hold on. The cultivator said hurriedly. Sect leaders, you'd better think of a way to deal with them quickly. Wait, you're saying that only 2 people from the Yunshi sect went and destroyed the Cloudstone sect? Sect leader Lei Falcon of the Leijing sect heard some useful information from the cultivator's words. That's right. The cultivator nodded and said, Master Yunbing of the Yunshi sect should be around the 2nd or 3rd level of the Immortal Lord realm. Although I haven't seen him for thousands of years, his cultivation should not be at the 5th level of the Immortal Lord realm. What's the cultivation of that young man? Could he be an expert at the Immortal King realm? Lei Falcon touched his chin and analyzed. Immortal King! The sect leaders of the major sects were shocked by his words. They were all from small sections. Apart from them, the strongest person in the sect was only an elder at the half-step Immortal Lord realm. It was impossible for them to put up a fight against the Immortal King. He's not an Immortal King. He's at the 5th level of the Immortal Lord realm. The cultivator shook his head again. Impossible! Haha, you must have lost your mind after sleeping for so long. Lei Falcon burst into laughter when he heard his words. Shi Jingtian is a 6th-level immortal lord and has the sect protection array. He has even killed an immortal king before. You're saying that Master Yunbing of the Yunshi sect and a young man at the 5th level of the immortal lord realm can destroy the Cloudstone sect? What a joke! The other sect leaders relaxed immediately. If someone with such strength dared to appear in front of them, they wouldn't even need to join forces. In fact, they didn't even need to join forces to attack. They only needed 2 or 3 sect masters to face the enemy together, and they could easily deal with it. I'm telling the truth. Although that young man's cultivation is at the 5th level of the immortal realm, he's not much weaker than sect leader Shi Jingtian. Sect leaders, please be careful. The cultivator became anxious when he saw that Lei Falcon and the others did not believe him. All right. We believe you. We believe you. Lei Falcon shook his head and smiled. When he saw that the cultivator in front of him was so determined, he waved his hand and said casually, "You sigh. Anyway, I've already brought the news." In the end, the cultivator sighed helplessly, turned around, and walked out. He did not blame Lei Falcon and the others. After all, if he had not seen it with his own eyes, he would not have believed that a cultivator at the 5th level of the immortal realm could be so powerful. However, that was the truth. He did not know how to convince them. Sect leader Lei Falcon, we've left the Yunshi sect with Shi Jingtian. Maybe the Yunshi sect will come and find trouble with us? The sect leader of the Tuji sect asked worriedly. Even if they come, what can they do? Now that they've taken the initiative to provoke those sects, even Yunwei ended up like this. If we continue to follow them, we'll die sooner or later. It's better for us to leave as soon as possible, Lei Falcon said confidently as he sat opposite them. Ever since he had left the Yunshi sect, the sect masters of these sects had been staying in his territory all day and asking him what they should do next. Lei Ho had gradually become their leader. Lei Falcon enjoyed such a situation very much. As long as there was no trouble, he would be able to completely take these sects under his command after a period of time. At that time, the Thunder Shock sect would definitely regain its position in the Western region, and his name would also resound in the Western region. That's right. Sect leader Lei Falcon is right. When the others heard his words, they nodded in agreement. All right. Everyone, go and do what you're supposed to do. Lei Falcon smiled and waved his hand at them. He looked like an alliance leader. Chapter 1924. However, before the rest of the sect masters could agree, everyone sensed that someone was approaching. Perhaps one of the elders has returned from outside. Lei Jun was not surprised. Their Leijing sect was located in a desolate place in the west. Even the individual cultivators were not willing to come to recruit disciples, let alone others. So that's how it is. Hearing his words, everyone relaxed. Just as they were about to leave, 2 figures suddenly appeared in the sect. Seeing Yunbing and Jiang Chen's sudden visit, all of the disciples of the Thunder Shocking sect became vigilant. They could clearly sense the killing intent from the 2. Some of the weaker disciples even felt uncomfortable. They were almost out of breath under the pressure of the 2's energy. Lei Jun, come out and talk. With Shi Jingtian as an example, Yunbing was not going to give these people a chance. Who dares to break into my Leijing sect? Of course, Thunderhawk wouldn't embarrass himself in front of so many sect leaders. He flew out of the hall and questioned Jiangchen and Yunbing loudly, staring at them. However, just as he finished speaking, he felt that something was amiss. He knew Yunshi sect master Yunbing. As for the other young man, he had never seen him before. He sensed that the young man's cultivation was around Immortal Realm level 5. He did not care about the strength of these 2 people at all. However, when he thought of the news brought by the cultivator, Lei Jun felt a chill in his heart and could not help muttering, "Don't you recognize me?" Watching those people coming out after the Thunderhawk, Yunbing suddenly burst out into laughter. So all the heads are here. If so, it saves me some trouble. Master Icy Cloud Mountain, may I know why you have come all the way here? Our sects have already broken away from the Yunshi sect. Logically speaking, there is no longer any relationship between us. You have trespassed into our sect without permission. You have already disregarded the Lei Jing sect. Lei Jun pretended to be calm and asked in a deep voice. Are your sects qualified to be taken seriously by me? Looking at the hundreds and thousands of disciples gathered below, Yun Bing's fingers moved slightly. A sword formation descended from the sky and shrouded the entire Lei Jing sect. Master Yun Bing! Do you want to be our enemy? Seeing the array formation, the Thunder Hawk believed the cultivator's words. However, there was no point in believing it now. Thinking of the miserable end of the Cloudstone sect, he knew that he had to kill these two today, or his Thundershock sect would completely disappear from the immortal world. Buzz! The 4 broadswords were inserted in 4 different positions of the Lei Jing sect. After the formation was completed, there was a flower-like imprint that was slowly circulating inside. Just as these disciples were looking up and trying to guess what this formation meant, the 4 broadswords began to tremble at the same time. Within the enchantment, there was a loud buzzing sound. The cultivation of these Lei Jing sect disciples was not particularly high. As soon as the formation was activated, many of them vomited blood. Fellow mountain chieftains, it seems like the situation in the Cloudstone sect is true. Since they are here, I'm afraid that Shi Jingtian is already in their hands. We can only survive if we work together. Otherwise, only death awaits us. Lei Jiao gritted his teeth and looked at Yun Bing. All right. To be able to become the sect leader of a sect, no one was a fool. Even if Lei Jiao did not speak, they would know the situation. In an instant, several sect leaders joined forces and rushed toward Jiang Chen and Yun Bing. Be careful, don't get hurt. Yun Bing waved her satin and reminded Jiang Chen in a low voice. Then she dashed forward. Jiang Chen smiled. The imprint was formed. Cold air spread out from his body. Except for Yun Bing, everyone was restricted by the extreme ice realm. The sect leaders who had gathered all their immortal qi and rushed forward suddenly felt that their bodies were blocked. The immortal qi that was flowing smoothly just now was now blocked in their bodies and could not be released. What's going on? Lei Jiao steadied himself and tried to mobilize the immortal qi from his body again. Unfortunately, almost all of the vigorous immortal qi was locked in his body. No matter how hard he tried, the immortal qi he could mobilize was pitifully little. Slap! Yun Bing's silk satin hit his face hard. After feeling the pain, Lei Jiao covered his face and took 2 steps back. Little b****, with your high immortal cultivation, you're nothing in front of us. Looking at Yun Bing's cold face, Lei Jiao suddenly smiled. Later, the other sect leaders and I will subdue you and let you know how powerful we are. TSK. How dare you talk big when you're about to die? Yun Bing spat. When I first entered the Yunshi sect, I already had feelings for you. Unfortunately, you're the sect leader. However, there are no restrictions between us now. Although the immortal qi in his body was blocked, Lei Jiao still thought that Yun Bing would definitely not be a match for the Immortal Lord sect leaders if they joined forces. As for Jiang Chen, they did not take him seriously at all. 5th level Immortal Realm. With such a low cultivation level, even if he had some strength, what could he do? Could he overturn rivers and seas? Swoosh! Just as he was speaking rudely, a 7-colored long sword pierced directly from the sky. The tip of the sword pierced Lei Jiao's back and nailed him to the ground. Lei Jiao's expression froze when he felt the pain. He raised his head and looked at Jiang Chen, who was not far away. In the extreme ice domain, not only were his immortal qi and speed affected, but even his perception was weakened. Before the long sword pierced his body, he did not notice anything wrong at all. Do you still want to talk? Looking at him, Jiang Chen asked with a smile. I'm going to kill you! Lei Jiao clenched his fists so tightly that his fingernails had already sunk into the flesh of his palms. It seems that you're still not honest. Jiang Chen raised his finger gently. An even colder chill spread from the sword. Lei Jiao, who was still stubborn, instantly turned into an ice sculpture. Is this the strength of a 5th-level Immortal Realm expert? Sensing that Lei Jiao's aura had dissipated, the other sect leaders could not help but take 2 steps back. Even a half-step immortal king would not be able to kill an immortal lord so easily. However, the young man in front of them was obviously only at the immortal realm. For a moment, they were extremely regretful. They regretted not listening to the cultivator's words and not leaving the Lei Jing sect earlier. Killed? Yun Bing was also a little surprised. In the Cloudstone sect, Jiang Chen had only injured Shi Jingtian. Although it was abnormal enough, she knew Jiang Chen's strength, so she was not very surprised. Chapter 1925. Is there any use for him? Jiang Chen was shocked. No, I'm just surprised by the strength you've shown. Yun Bing shook her head. I'm curious why you're only in the divine immortal realm. You're obviously stronger than me. I don't know either, Jiang Chen said, shrugging his shoulders. While he was talking to Yun Bing, those sect masters finally reacted and hurriedly rushed out of the Lei Jing sect's gate. They knew that the sect had been enveloped by the formation. However, Yun Bing was only a divine immortal while they were divine immortals. If they joined forces, they might be able to escape. If they continued to stay here, they would definitely die. Everyone, where are you going? Jiang Chen rushed in front of them. Little brother, there's no grudge between us. The Cloudstone sect was the first to leave the Yunxi sect. We only followed the Lei Jing sect because we believed Lei Jiao's nonsense. The few of them were completely shocked by Jiang Chen's strength. When they saw this man standing in their way, they didn't have any desire to fight him at all. Their legs were shivering, and they cupped their hands at Jiang Chen and begged for his mercy. It's useless to say that to me. Jiang Chen waved his finger at them. Then, the sect leaders were stunned. Master Icy Cloud Mountain, how should we deal with them? Jiang Chen asked, looking at Yun Bing, who was walking towards him, when he saw these people keeping quiet out of fear. You don't have to kill them. Bring them back to the sect and let the sect leader deal with them. Yun Bing thought for a while. She was going to kill all of them. However, after thinking about it, she decided to bring a few of them back. They might be of some use to the sect. Thank you, Master Icy Cloud Mountain, for not killing them. Thank you, little brother, for showing mercy. The few of them immediately relaxed. Cold sweat flowed down their foreheads and even their robes were soaked. You killed all the disciples of the Lei Jing sect? Jiang Chen looked inside the sect. The desolate sect was filled with the smell of blood. Yes. Yun Bing nodded gently. Looking at her, it was hard to associate her with the ruthless mountain chieftain from before. Let's go then. Jiang Chen glanced around and said. Several sect leaders followed behind Jiang Chen and Yun Bing. Although their speed was far inferior and they were left behind, none of them had the thought of running away. They were all scared out of their wits by Jiang Chen. You don't seem to be in a good mood. Yun Bing, who was traveling side by side with Jiang Chen, spoke first when she saw Jiang Chen's tense face. Nothing. Let's return to the sect first. Jiang Chen shook his head and sighed inwardly. In the past, when faced with such situations, Jiang Chen would go to these sects and loot them. He would put everything he could take into his storage ring and send it away. However, now that the Immortal sect had encountered such a situation and the Yunxi sect had been affected because of him, Jiang Chen was not very interested. Yes. Since Jiang Chen didn't say anything, Yun Bing didn't continue to ask. It was already the next day when they returned to the Yunxi sect. With Yun Bing as his companion, Jiang Chen didn't encounter any obstacles and went straight to the top of the mountain. In the main hall, several sect leaders knelt on the ground. Yunxi sat at the head of the table and looked at them with disgust. Why did you bring them back? Yunxi asked after a moment of silence. Sect leader Thundershock sect, Thunderhawk and Shi Jingtian from Cloudstone sect have been killed by us. We brought them back to here if you have any orders for us. Yun Bing cupped her hands and said, No orders. Those who betray the Yunxi sect once will not have a second chance. Take them away and kill them. Yunxi waved her hand and said, Sect leader Yunxi, we didn't understand at the moment and listened to Shi Jingtian and Lei Jiao's nonsense. Oh, we will definitely obey your orders in the future. Yunxi's words scared them out of their wits. They all knelt on the ground and shouted loudly. However, no matter how much they said, they were still taken away by the Yunshi sect people. Several screams were heard. The immortals had completely disappeared from the immortal world. The two of you are not injured, right? Yunshi frowned slightly when she smelled the bloody smell in the air. She waved her sleeves gently, and the bloody smell was covered by the fragrance of flowers. No, I just used up some of my immortal force. Yunbing shook her head. It's been hard on you two this time. I think that after this, the other mountain lords in the sect won't target you anymore. Yunshi looked at Jiang Chen and said, Yunwei has not woken up yet. Are you going to continue to wait in the sect? Yes, before sect leader Yunwei wakes up, I will take care of his matters. Jiang Chen nodded firmly. You are different from your master in this aspect. Yunshi suddenly laughed when she thought of Bai Xianling. Why? Jiang Chen did not understand why she said that. If it were your master standing here, he would definitely leave without saying a word. Yunshi crossed her arms in front of her chest and said, He wants to avoid as much trouble as possible. He wishes that no one would disturb him so that he can live his life in peace. There is still a difference between me and him. Thinking of Bai Xuanling's unreliable look, Jiang Chen quickly explained. Okay, you should go back and rest. If Yunwei wakes up, I will inform you immediately. Yunshi was amused by Jiang Chen and covered her mouth as she laughed. Okay, sect leader Yunshi, see you later. Jiang Chen cupped his hands and turned to leave. Yunbing turned her head and looked at Jiang Chen's back. Even after Jiang Chen disappeared at the entrance of the main hall, she still did not regain her senses. Ahem. Yunshi looked at her and coughed softly. Ah, sect leader Yunshi. Yunbing's face turned red and she quickly turned her head. I remember that when I asked you to go out with him, you were unhappy. Why is it that after not seeing him for a few days, all your thoughts are on him? Is Jiang Chen so charming? Yunshi's smile was gentle and her voice was even more refreshing. I just suddenly wanted to take a look outside the sect. Yunbing's face turned even redder. She walked to Yunshi's side and sat on the wooden chair with her. She said, Sister, what do you think is the background of Jiang Chen? Why is his talent so high? Even the strength that he has shown is not comparable to me. Oh? Why do you suddenly say that? Hearing this, Yunshi already knew that her sister might have fallen for him. When we were in the Yunshi sect, he only seriously injured Shi Jingtian. Yunbing recalled what happened before and said, But when we were in the Leijing sect, he almost instantly killed the Thunderhawk. Chapter 1926. Oh? Even Yunshi felt a little surprised. She had heard from Bai Xianling about Jiang Chen's strength. She thought that Jiang Chen could only fight with a master of the immortal monarch realm. At most, it would be a tie with her brother. But it was a little unbelievable that he could kill the Thunderhawk instantly. I saw it with my own eyes. The Thunderhawk didn't even have a chance to fight back. Yunbing was excited. She walked directly to Yunshi and gestured with her hands. Sister, at that time, the Thunderhawk was flirting with me. Jiang Chen didn't say anything. He directly moved a long sword from the sky and stabbed it into his back, pinning him to the ground. The Thunderhawk still wanted to talk, but Jiang Chen suddenly used the immortal power of ice and froze him to death. Yunbing performed Jiang Chen's gestures and the action of stabbing the long sword into the Thunderhawk's body. Have you fallen in love with him? Seeing that her sister was suddenly so lively, Yunshi was even more sure of her guess. She immediately asked. Ah? Yunbing was suddenly stunned. Even her waving hands were stiff in the air. It seems so. Yunshi smiled softly. Then, facing her sister, Yunbing didn't hide much. Since she had been seen through, she admitted it openly. That Jiang Chen is not only a good person, but also has such high talent and cultivation. It's hard for me not to like him. You said that he was frivolous before. Yunshi reminded her. He was joking. Compared with the disgusting words that the Thunderhawk said, what Jiang Chen said is nothing at all. Yunbing shook her head. Since you said so, as your sister, I have nothing to say. Jiang Chen is really good. He is worthy of you. Yunxi was very satisfied with Yunbing's idea. When she first learned about Jiang Chen's situation, she already had this idea. But she was surprised that Yunbing actually took the initiative to have feelings for Jiang Chen. But Jiang Chen is so outstanding. Maybe he already has many women around him. Yunbing's mood fell again. That's up to you. Go back and rest first. I still have some things to deal with in the sect. If you are interested in targeting Jiang Chen, seize the opportunity while he is in the sect. When he returns to the northern region and Kunlun Celestial Mountain, I'm afraid it will be difficult for you to see him. Yunxi held her forehead. Now that the sect was in a mess, she really did not have the energy to care about these matters between men and women. Okay, then I'll go back first, sis. Yunbing nodded obediently. When Yunwei woke up, it was already close to 10 days later. Sensing the fluctuations coming from the secret chamber, Jiang Chen had already reached the back of the first mountain without waiting for Yunxi's reminder. In front of the stone door, Yunxi was not the only one standing there. The other mountain chieftains, including Yunbing, were also there. However, when they saw Jiang Chen, they all snorted coldly. Young Master Jiang Chen has been in the sect for the past few days in place of Mountain Chieftain Yunwei to deal with the sect's affairs. Moreover, Mountain Chieftain Yunwei was able to recover because of the elixirs given by Jiang Chen. Why are you snorting? If it was before, Yunbing would most likely have been the same as them. However, now that she had fallen in love with Jiang Chen, she was the first to lose it in the face of their mockery before Jiang Chen could say anything. The 6 mountain chieftains all looked at her in shock. Even Jiang Chen was almost shocked by her words. What did she mean? Did the sun rise from the west? Mountain Chieftain Yunbing, who had just called him a hooligan, was actually speaking up for him? What are you looking at? I'm just stating the facts. Yunbing's face turned red under their stares, and she hurriedly explained. That's enough, stop talking. Jiang Chen, Yunbing, you two stay here. The rest of you can go back. Don't gather here. When Yunwei's condition improves, it's not like you won't be able to see him again. Yunxi did not want her sister to feel awkward, so she could only speak up to stop them. The 6 mountain chieftains were chased away for no reason. They were all staring at Jiang Chen with their eyes wide open when they were leaving. They wanted to see if this brat had given Yunbing some kind of bewitching potion. Be careful when you speak next time. Don't be so obvious. Yunxi reminded him softly when she sensed that the other mountain chieftains' auras had disappeared from First Mountain. I'm speaking the truth. Jiang Chen has indeed done a lot of things on behalf of Yunwei. Those sects that rebelled against our Yunxi sect were all dealt with by the 2 of us. Yunbing was a little unconvinced. She did not think that she had said anything wrong. Ahem. Jiang Chen could not bear to listen any longer. He said, Mountain Chieftain Yunbing, have you been feeling unwell recently, or have I accidentally offended you? What do you mean? Yunbing tilted her head and looked at Jiang Chen. Nothing. I just find it unbelievable that you suddenly spoke up for me. Jiang Chen took 2 steps back. He was standing too close, so Yunbing tilted her head and almost bumped into him. I'm just stating the facts. Yunbing did not have the courage to tell Jiang Chen the truth. Thank you, Mountain Chieftain Yunbing, for speaking up for me. Hearing her say this, Jiang Chen felt a lot more relaxed. He quickly replied in a serious manner. As they spoke, Yunxi unlocked the secret chamber's seal. The 3 of them pushed the door open and entered. Yunwei was still sitting on the ice bed inside. Seeing that someone had entered, he opened his eyes and said weakly, Sect Master, Mountain Chieftain Yunbing, Brother Jiang Chen, why are you here? How do you feel? Upon seeing that Yunwei had woken up, Yunxi felt as if a weight had been lifted off her shoulders. I feel a little weak. The immortal power in my body seems to have dried up. Yunwei shook his head and said, Brother Jiang Chen, I'm sorry. I'm too weak. I didn't find out what you wanted to know. Instead, I landed myself in this situation. What are you saying, Mountain Chieftain Yunwei? Jiang Chen said hurriedly. I'm afraid I'm no longer qualified to continue being the Mountain Chieftain of the 3rd Mountain. Yunwei slowly got off the bed. As soon as his feet touched the ground, he fell to the side. Black, viscous blood spurted out of his mouth. Yun Bing quickly went to support him. Jiang Chun looked at the bloodstains on the ground, and the corners of his eyes twitched. Mountain Chieftain Yun Wei, your body should have been infected with the Black Plague. Smelling the strange stench in the air, Jiang Chun stepped forward and pressed his hand on Yun Wei's shoulder. Jiang Chun activated his immortal power, and the situation in Yun Wei's body was completely sensed by him. On his chest there was a cloud of black, turbid air enveloping his internal organs. Not only his immortal power, but even his blood was completely cut off. Jiang Chun felt a chill run down his spine. Yun Wei had been able to hold on until now, and even wake up, all because of the vitality provided by that pill. Otherwise he would have died in the secret chamber a few days ago. Black Plague? Yun Shi hurried forward. Chapter 1927. Sure enough. Yun Shi also sensed that something was wrong in Yun Wei's body. She knew what kind of background this thing had, but it was her first time encountering it, so she was a little at a loss. Sect Master Yun Shi, don't worry. Your cultivation is above Immortal King Wu Chang's, so you can use your immortal qi to force the foul air out of his body. Jiang Chun turned around and closed the stone door. Okay, help him onto the ice bed. With Jiang Chen's words, Yun Shi was not so anxious. Seeing that Yun Wei had fallen into a coma again, she quickly sat cross-legged on the ice bed and circulated her immortal qi. After Jiang Chun and Yun Bing helped Yun Wei onto the ice bed, Yun Shi patted him on the back with both hands. Her immortal qi spread out from her body without reservation. Sixth-tier Immortal King, as expected of the woman that old by likes. Sensing Yun Shi's vast immortal qi, Jiang Chun could not help but sigh. An incense stick of time passed. Yun Wei suddenly trembled, and foul air was spat out from his mouth. Is this the Black Plague? Sensing that Yun Wei's condition had improved, Yun Shi quickly opened her eyes and cast a sealing technique, instantly sealing the foul air. This is the foul air that Black Sky Emperor brought back from an unknown area. Jiang Chun nodded. Looking at this cloud of foul air, he recalled the man in a black robe he saw in the Immortal King's tomb. What an extremely insidious method! Yun Shi opened up an enchantment barrier and threw it inside. As long as she did not release it, this cloud of foul air should be trapped inside until the day the immortal world disappeared. Something is wrong. Jiang Chun remembered that Bai Xianling had removed the foul air for Bai Xiaoyun, and also remembered that Su Qian had removed the foul air from the disciple's body. Then he looked at the one that Yun Shi had just sealed. Jiang Chun clearly felt that the Black Plague in the disciples of the sect was obviously much weaker than this, and far less ferocious. Is there anything else I need to pay attention to? Seeing Jiang Chun frown, Yun Shi thought that she had done something wrong. Nothing, I just suddenly felt that something was wrong. Jiang Chun shook his head and said, What's wrong? Is there something wrong with Yun Wei? Yun Shi looked at Yun Wei, who was sitting on the bed. No, it's the disciples of our sect who are not right. The more Jiang Chun thought about it, the more he felt that there was a problem. However, he could not say much in the Yun Shi sect. Hence, he could only explain. It's nothing serious. I will investigate it when I return to the sect. Yes. Yun Shi nodded. When will Cloud Might Mountain Lord wake up? Yun Bing carefully observed Yun Wei. She had a good impression of Yun Wei before, but now, no matter how she looked at it, Jiang Chun was more outstanding than the person in front of her. What's more, she knew that Yun Wei's thoughts had always been on her sister, and he had no interest in other women. He's already awake. Jiang Chun pointed at the ice bed and said. Yun Wei slowly opened his eyes again. This time, his condition was obviously much better than before. Although he was still very weak, his eyes were much clearer. Why did I pass out again? Yun Wei looked at the three of them blankly. He slowly supported himself on the ice bed and stood up. I just cleared out the foul qi in your body. Looking at Yun Wei, who was obviously better, Yun Shi's expression became much more relaxed. Rest well. Don't interfere in the sect's affairs for the time being. Sect Master, I have something to say. Yun Wei hurriedly waved his hand and said, "What is it?" Yunshi asked. "It's about the situation I encountered in the desert." Yun Wei recalled carefully and said, "I did not find any sect in the desert, but when I was about to return, someone suddenly stopped me." "Was it the black-robed man?" Jiang Chen hurriedly asked. "That's right. He also brought several celestial kings with him. I was no match for them at all. Even after unlocking the special seal of the Yunshi sect, I was still no match for them. The weapon that this person used was a black disc. His cultivation was probably above the 5th tier of the Celestial King realm. He said that he did not want to fight with the Yunshi sect and spared my life for the sake of the sect." Yun Wei thought about the situation and said, "A black disc?" Jiang Chen raised his eyebrows. "Why? Do you know this person?" Yunshi asked. "If I'm not mistaken, this person should be the one who attacked us in the deep forest. If Lao Bai had not rushed back in time, all of us together would not have been a match for him." Jiang Chen narrowed his eyes. He could feel that this person's level of danger might be higher than that of the Black Sect Master. He was also hidden in a desolate and dangerous area. "What else?" Yunshi continued to ask. "I don't know anything else. I was no match for him. After I was seriously injured, I fainted. When I woke up, I was already here." Yun Wei shook his head and said, "Young Master Jiang, please send Sect Master Yun Wei back to rest." Yunshi looked at Jiang Chen and said, "Okay." Jiang Chen nodded and helped Yun Wei out of the stone room. On the way, Yun Wei told Jiang Chen about some of the things he saw in the desert. Although he did not find any sect, there were still some valuable clues. When they arrived at the entrance of Mount Sanqiao, they slowed down. Yun Wei exhaled heavily and said weakly, "Brother Jiang Chen, I'm really sorry. This time, not only did I not find the information you wanted, but I also made you worry for nothing. I'm really sorry. Sect Master Yun Wei, please don't say that. I should be the one apologizing." Yun Wei's words made Jiang Chen feel very guilty. At the entrance of Mount Sanqiao, they felt Jiang Chen's aura. Many disciples rushed out from inside. Although the other sect masters did not target Jiang Chen, Yun Wei was the sect master of Mount Sanqiao. Now, because of Jiang Chen, he had fallen into his current predicament. They hated Jiang Chen the most. "Brothers, set up the array and kill Jiang Chen at the entrance of the sect. Avenge Sect Master Yun Wei!" Hundreds of disciples rushed out from the mountain gate. Suddenly, the array at the entrance of Mount Sanqiao was enveloped. Hundreds of disciples used the immortal power in their bodies at the same time, locking Jiang Chen in. "All of you, stop!" Seeing that the attack was about to appear, Yun Wei did not care about his injuries and hurriedly shouted, "All of you, stop!" Hearing Yun Wei's voice, the disciples at the front stopped. Jiang Chen supported Yun Wei and landed at the foot of the sect. When the disciples saw Yun Wei, the anger on their faces disappeared instantly, and was replaced by surprise. They had seen how the sect master looked when he was brought back. His breathing was weak, on the verge of death. In their hearts, it was almost impossible for Yun Wei to succeed. Now that they saw Yun Wei appear in front of them, they were so excited that they did not know what to say. Chapter 1928. With Jiang Chen's help, Yun Wei stood at the entrance of the mountain. "What do you want to do? Do you want to kill Brother Jiang Chen?" Yun Wei glanced at the disciples, coughed heavily, and scolded in a low voice. "Let me tell you, if anyone dares to lay a hand on Brother Jiang Chen, don't blame me for chasing him out of the sect. Do you understand?" "Yes, yes." "Sect Master, quickly come back and rest. Don't get angry anymore. We'll definitely treat Jiang Chen like a brother in the sect. We won't deal with him anymore." Seeing Yun Wei in such pain, the group of disciples in front of him hurriedly spoke up. Some of them were so anxious that they were about to cry. They were afraid that Yun Wei's injuries would worsen because of their anger. "Brother Jiang Chen, come in and have a seat." Yun Wei reached out and put his hand on Jiang Chen's shoulder as he spoke weakly. He helped him into the sect. Hundreds of disciples followed behind him in a grandiose manner. In the main hall, When Yunwei sat on the chair, he finally relaxed completely. My sect's disciples have been dealing with trivial matters inside and outside the sect all year round, as well as in Yunshi City. As a result, they are a little irritable. I hope you don't mind. Yunwei looked at Jiangchen, smiled guiltily, and said, Of course not. This proves that you're a pretty good sect master. The disciples in the sect are so anxious about you. If my 10,000 creations immortal sect could have such a group of disciples, I'd be satisfied. Jiangchen waved his hand and said, That's because I'm following the sect master's arrangements. Yunwei looked at the disciples standing outside the main hall, took 2 deep breaths, and said, Brother Jiangchen, I reckon that the strength of those sects isn't too bad. If you're not confident, it's better not to provoke them. With the strength of our Yunshi sect, I'm afraid that it'll be difficult to deal with one of those sections. I know. Back when we were deep in the mountains, he brought along several immortal king puppets and more than 10 immortal lord puppets. This was only the strength that he displayed. Jiangchen nodded. Jiangchen agreed with what Yunwei said. Therefore, Jiangchen suspected that this black-robed man's sect was very likely to be stronger than the black sect's sect master. And this was just one of the sections. There were 3 other sects with similar strength as them. You have to think about what to do next. Yunwei looked at Jiangchen and added, I don't know about your sect, but the Yunshi sect might not risk their lives to help you. I know what I'm doing. Jiangchen nodded. Phew! That nearly cost me my life. I didn't think that I would be able to make it through. However, I fear that I will need a very long time to recuperate. Who knows, it might even affect my cultivation base. Yunwei let out a heavy sigh. Your cultivation won't be affected. You just need to rest for a while and you'll be able to recover completely. Seeing that he was a little worried, Jiangchen quickly said, Why? A trace of joy appeared on Yunwei's face. I gave you a top-grade pill from the Heaven and Earth Pharmacy. It can save your life and cultivation base. Jiangchen told him the truth. Thank you, brother Jiangchen. Yunwei immediately understood what pill it was and quickly cupped his hands. I should be the one thanking you. Jiangchen got up and cupped his hands in return. Since you're out of danger, I'll return to the northern region. I'll visit you again when I have time. Okay, Yunwei said. After leaving Mount Sanchong, Jiangchen went to inform Yunshi and then rushed out of Mount Sanchong. Looking at Jiangchen's back, Yunshi wanted to talk about Yunbing, but she didn't know where to start. Yunbing, who had returned to Mount Sanchong, felt Jiangchen's aura leave, and her expression gradually dimmed. She knew that once Jiangchen left, she didn't know when he would return. In the northern region, during the time when Jiangchen was away, the entire 10,000 Creations Immortal sect was completely under martial law. All disciples were not allowed to go out, and no one was allowed to enter. Some people who wanted to visit were all chased out. At night, Jiangchen returned to the Immortal sect. What are you doing? Seeing Lin Xiao standing at the sect gate with a long spear, Jiangchen stepped forward and asked, Young master, you're back. Hearing this familiar voice, Lin Xiao immediately woke up and hurriedly stepped forward. Well, didn't I ask you to calm down and recuperate? Jiangchen looked at the left and right sides of the sect gate and asked, And you're the eldest senior brother. It's not your turn to guard the sect. Young master, Elder Su has put the entire sect on lockdown. No one is allowed to enter or leave, for fear that there will be problems again. Lin Xiao chuckled. Then he patted his chest hard and said, My body is completely fine now. What's the situation at the Immortal Mountain overseas? Jiangchen walked through the gate and asked. Young master, in the days that you were gone, I would go there once every 3 days. Those sects were not affected in the slightest. Also, I asked Mei Qingyu and the other sect masters. There were practically no strange people who approached the Celestial Mountains. When Lin Xiao said this, there was some doubt in his tone. Then I know. Compared to his confusion, Jiangchen's heart gradually became clear. On the way back from the western region, he had thoroughly thought about the matters in the sect. Young master, do you know why? Lin Xiao stopped and asked. Let's go to the back of the mountain to see the situation of those disciples first. Jiangqin pulled his arm and walked to the back of the sect. He chose to come back at night and hid his aura in order to not let the disciples in the sect notice him. Jiangqin also concluded that the problem in the sect was mostly caused by the disciples. Back of the mountain. Hundreds of disciples were inside the huge holy protection barrier. Looking at the white light lingering around the barrier, Jiangqin knew that after he left, Great Elder Su Qian must have reinforced it. Young Master! Young Master, save us! Young Master, do we have to stay here forever? Seeing Jiangqin, these disciples who were originally groaning because of the pain seemed to have seen hope. They all walked to the edge of the barrier and shouted at Jiangqin. Don't worry, I came back this time to let you recover. Jiangqin stretched out his hand and gently stroked the barrier. A crack appeared on the green barrier. All the disciples took a few steps back. Young Master, you can't come in. The turbid chi in our bodies will be transferred to you. A disciple waved his hands vigorously. They all understood that Jiangqin was everyone's hope. If even Jiangqin was affected, then they would have no hope at all. Don't worry. Jiangqin smiled and walked into the barrier. Chapter 1929. Lin Xiao, who was behind him, was a little hesitant. However, seeing how confident Jiangqin was, he gritted his teeth and followed him in. Young Master, have you found a way to remove the turbid chi in our bodies? All the disciples gathered in front of Jiangqin and asked at once. Come here and sit in front of me. Jiangqin didn't explain. Instead, he pointed at the disciple who told him not to come in and beckoned him with his finger. The disciple obediently walked in front of Jiangqin and sat down cross-legged. Jiangqin closed his eyes. The power of the phoenix and the power of the golden dragon in his body circulated quickly. 9 different types of immortal power gathered together and slapped toward his junior. The immortal power was instilled into his body. All the disciples stared at him without blinking. Pfft! A moment later, the disciple spat out a mouthful of blood. Along with the blood, there was also a cloud of black turbid chi. Seeing this, Jiangqin was even more certain of the thought in his heart. The flames in his palm burned fiercely and directly burned it to ashes. Hiss! This scene stunned Lin Xiao. He remembered that to force out the Black Plague, one had to at least be an expert at the 5th level of the Immortal King realm. However, the young master could do it so easily. Didn't that mean, Young Master, are you an expert at the 5th level of the Immortal King realm? Unable to suppress the confusion in his heart, Lin Xiao directly asked. I'm not at the 5th level of the Immortal King realm. Jiangqin shook his head. His heart was incomparably smooth. He said to them, Come out with me. The other disciples will stay in there for another night. Tomorrow, I will invite an expert to the sect to help you force out all the turbid chi in your bodies. Thank you, young master. Hundreds of people knelt down on one knee in front of Jiangqin. The disciple was extremely excited. After following Jiangqin out of the barrier, he performed a set of fist techniques with all his might. Remember, don't tell anyone about your situation. Ask Lin Xiao to arrange a guest room for you. Do you understand? Jiangqin grabbed him and whispered. Why, young master? The disciple didn't understand and asked. This should be a good thing. Let the entire sect know about it. Only then can the fear and depression in everyone's hearts be eliminated. Just do as the young master says. If you dare to leak it out, I'll deal with you. Lin Xiao grabbed his ear. Got it, got it. After feeling the pain, the disciple hurriedly agreed. After Lin Xiao took his disciple away, Jiangqin immediately found Long Dade and asked him to take advantage of the night to go to the Heaven Secrets Pavilion and ask all the immortal kings in the pavilion to rush to the immortal sect tomorrow morning. Unbeknownst to all the disciples, Jiangqin had set up a huge array formation to envelop the immortal gate. The next day, Bai Xiaoyun rushed over with a group of fellow disciples. Why did you suddenly summon us in such a hurry? Bai Xiaoyun led them into the main hall and saw Jiangqin sitting on a chair with his legs crossed. Senior brothers, thank you for helping our 10,000 mounts immortal sex disciples to expel the foul chi from their bodies. Jiangchen stood up and cupped his hands towards them. It's no trouble at all. Junior brother, what are you saying? You're treating us as outsiders. Everyone waved their hands. It was obvious that they could not accept Jiangchen's warm side. What's the situation? Bai Xiaoyun pulled Jiangchen to the side and said, Great Elder Su Qian said that only experts above the 5th stage of the Immortal King realm can get rid of the Black Plague in their bodies. Their cultivation is far from enough. No need. Jiangchen shook his head. After I returned from the western region last night, I've already helped one of the disciples expel the foul chi from his body. Senior brothers, your cultivation is higher than mine. It's not a problem for a dozen people to help 200 people. It just needs some time. Why? Could it be that Great Elder Su Qian remembered wrongly? Seeing Jiangchen's expression, Bai Xiaoyun did not think that he was joking. Great Elder Su Qian remembered correctly. It's just that it's not the same Black Plague. Jiangchen suddenly shook his head and laughed. And I'm sure that the problem lies with these disciples. We recruited them together. If there's a problem, we should have discovered it earlier. Bai Xiaoyun was even more confused. There's indeed no problem with the first group of disciples. But senior brother, don't forget that when we went to the eastern region to fight with the sect leader of the Black Sect and were injured, the sect recruited some new disciples. This group of disciples was recruited by Long Dade. Jiangchen suddenly scratched his head. You mean that there's a problem with the disciples that Brother Dade recruited? Bai Xiaoyun understood what Jiangchen meant. Come in. Jiangchen suddenly turned around and shouted to the outside of the main hall. Dozens of disciples entered the main hall. The people of the Divine Secret Pavilion sat on wooden stools on both sides and said, Young Master, did we do something wrong? The dozens of disciples looked at each other in dismay. They had no idea why Jiangchen had called them here. I'm just looking for someone. Jiangchen glanced at them and said lightly. Among this group of people, Jiangchen saw a person. Jiangchen felt that this person was familiar, but not very familiar. It was as if he had seen him somewhere before. Come out for a moment. Jiangchen waved to him when the other disciples didn't give him the same feeling. Is it me, young master? That person asked. Yes. Jiangchen nodded. Come out and let me see how your cultivation is. That person stood in place for a moment, and suddenly burst out with an extremely strong cultivation. He scattered all the cultivators around him and rushed out of the main hall. Immortal Monarch? In the main hall, everyone suddenly stood up. What's going on? Bai Xiaoyun asked. Ha ha. Jiangchen laughed and said, Senior brothers, I'll leave the disciples in the sect to you. Don't worry, junior brother Jiang. Although they didn't know what had happened, they still agreed. Jiangchen rushed out of the main hall. Qiu Li wiped off the immortal technique on his face and revealed his original appearance. He originally planned to find an opportunity to make a move on Jiangchen, but he didn't expect to be seen through. There were more than a dozen immortal kings in the main hall. He had to escape immediately, otherwise he would only die. Where are you going in such a hurry? As a dignified immortal monarch expert, why don't you stay in our 10,000 mounts immortal sect? I'll let you be an elder. How about it? Jiangchen rushed in front of him. Get out of the way, or I'll kill you. Qiu Li looked at Jiangchen sinisterly. So it's you. Jiangchen narrowed his eyes and said, I was wondering why I felt a little familiar. So it's Green Python Sky Snake's people. Jiangchen, you caused my clan leader to be captured by Huixian. I hate that my cultivation is not strong enough to kill you. Qiu Li stared fiercely at Jiangchen. Chapter 1930. Green scales emerged from his skin. His cultivation had also reached the 5th level of the immortal monarch realm. In the end, I forgot about the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan. Jiangchen was unperturbed by Qiu Li's transformation. In the 10,000 Creations immortal sect, even Xian Jun couldn't hurt him. However, your biggest problem is that the Black Plague you possess is simply too weak. Otherwise, it would have taken us quite a bit of effort to find you. I'll kill you now to avenge the sect leader, Chiu Li growled in a low voice. He extended his hand to grab Jiangqin. You want to hurt someone in front of me? Bai Xiaoyun rushed in from the sect and pressed a hand on his body. With just one move, Chiu Li was pressed to the ground. Brother, tell me what's going on. Jiangqin squatted down, looked at him, and said, The Fire Celestial clan and I have already let the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan go, but you dared to sneak into the 10,000 Creations Immortal sect and secretly murder our disciples. Jiangqin, kill me if you can. Otherwise, the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan will forever bear a grudge against you. We'll find the right opportunity to make you disappear from the immortal world. Chiu Li shouted at Jiangqin even though he was under Bai Xiaoyun's control. In his opinion, if it weren't for Jiangqin, his clan wouldn't have fallen to this point, and the sect leader wouldn't have fallen into the Blazing Phoenix clan's hands. Well said, you're a loyal clansman. But your words remind me that keeping your clan alive will always be a disaster. Jiangqin nodded and said, That's right. How dare you! The Green Python Heavenly Snake clan is one of the 6 great spiritual beast clans in the immortal world. We're protected by the laws. If you attack us, you'll definitely die even if you touch the laws. Chiu Li sneered. Then this has nothing to do with you. Jiangqin slowly got up and said, Eldest senior brother, get rid of him. You dog, I thought it was my own problem. So it's because of you. Bai Xiaoyun was also furious. She exerted force in her palm and immortal energy directly rushed into Chiu Li's body. In an instant, his meridians and internal organs were severely damaged. Chiu Li raised his head and looked at Jiangqin. His originally fierce eyes gradually lost their color. Who? I really didn't expect that someone from the Sky Serpent Azure Python would sneak into the sect. If you hadn't discovered him, he would have continued to hide. At that time, the immortal sect would be in trouble. Clapping her hands, Bai Xiaoyun spat on Chiu Li's body and said. Jiangqin smiled. I also noticed that the black plague afflicted by the disciples is somewhat different from yours. That's why I thought of this. Now that the biggest problem in the immortal sect had been resolved, he naturally felt extremely relaxed. Do you want to exterminate the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan? Carrying Chiu Li's strength, Bai Xiaoyun used her immortal energy to dissolve his corpse. Soon after, she thoroughly cleaned her hands to prevent them from being contaminated by that thing. The laws are limited, so I can't exterminate the clan. But this clan was able to continuously use such insidious means on Hui Xian and me. It's enough to prove that it's not a coincidence. It's very likely that the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan, like the Black Sect and the other sects in the western region, is not very clean. Jiangqin smiled and said, Is the immortal world really going to change? Bai Xiaoyun rubbed her brows. She had heard Bai Xianling mention it more than once when she was drunk. But every time, she stopped at a certain point and didn't even say a word about the most important situation. Take a look at the disciples. After they recover, I'll make a trip to the southern region. Jiangqin took a deep breath and swept toward the back of the sect. On the back mountain. At this time, many disciples had already gathered here. More than a dozen immortal kings of the Heavenly Mystery Pavilion were all inside the boundary, helping the disciples who were infected by the Black Plague to remove the foul air. Those who were not infected were all stretching their necks to look inside the boundary. More than a dozen immortal kings were working together. Perhaps this scene could only be seen in the 10,000 Mounts Immortal Sect. Grand Elder. Jiangqin swept to the back mountain and saw Su Qian standing there. I already know about the matter. Su Qian nodded at Jiangqin and said, The Black Plague in their bodies is indeed not enough. It's my fault for being too surprised at that time and not noticing it. Otherwise, these disciples would have already recovered. Grand Elder, what are you saying? Jiangqin smiled and said, Grand Elder, I'll have to trouble you to stay in the sect for a while longer. Oh? You're leaving again? Su Qian glanced inside the boundary. Jiangqin nodded and said, That person is a member of the Heavenly Green Python clan. I'm worried that if we don't get rid of this clan, similar things will happen again in the future. The 6 great spiritual beast clans, they are protected by the laws of the immortal world. Su Qian frowned slightly and said, I advise you to think about it carefully. I don't want to exterminate the clan. Jiang Chun shook his head and laughed. I just want to investigate why this clan has the Black Plague. If I can find out, I'll deal with it directly from the source. As for the Heavenly Green Python clan, they're the weakest of the 6 great spiritual beast clans. Now that their clan leader is trapped in the Blazing Phoenix clan, it's very difficult for them to achieve anything. There's no need to worry at all. Go on, I'll look after the sect for you. Jiang Chen's words put Su Qian's mind at ease. As they spoke, more than 10 immortal kings from the divination pavilion walked out one after another. The disciples who'd been treated walked out as well, but their bodies were still a little weak. As soon as they left the boundary, the other disciples swarmed forward and supported them. Sensing that their auras had returned to normal, Jiang Chen relaxed. In the main hall, Jiang Chen announced that he was going to the southern mountain range. I'll go with you. Hua Fu quickly raised her hand. You and big brother Jiang Yuan have to stay in the sect. There are hundreds of disciples that we need to look after now. I feel a little apologetic that all of this is on Great Elder Su. Jiang Chen shook his head, his attitude firm. All right. Hua Fu's interest dissipated. Eldest senior brother, why don't you come with me? Jiang Chen looked at Bai Xiaoyun, who was sitting silently beside him, and said, Now that Master has returned, there won't be any problems with him overseeing the divination pavilion. All right, even if you didn't say that, I'd still go with you. Bai Xiaoyun agreed immediately. He wanted to see what the Heavenly Green Python clan was made of. At the same time, he also wanted to take revenge for his personal grudge. He still remembered what the disciples in the sect had said about him. There's no time to lose, let's move out immediately. Where's Dade? Jiang Chen was about to call for Long Dade to go with him, when he glanced around and realized that he wasn't in the main hall at all. Chapter 1931. I don't know where he went after finding out that something happened to the disciples he recruited, Jiang Yuan said in a low voice. Where's his self-esteem? Jiang Chen was a little surprised. He didn't expect Long Dade, who had always been shameless, to be so embarrassed. You guys can go do your own things. I'll go look for him. In a corner of the mountain behind the sect, Jiang Chen saw Long Dade, who was curled up under the stone mountain. Let's go. Follow me to the southern region. Jiang Chen squatted beside him and patted his shoulder. I didn't expect that something happened to the disciples I recruited. Long Dade looked aggrieved. He knew what the immortal sect had been through recently. He felt very guilty when he thought that he was the cause of all this. It's not your fault. That person's cultivation is at the Immortal Lord realm, and you're only at the first level Immortal Supremacy realm. It's normal that you can't sense his true strength. Just don't be so careless in the future. Jiang Chen smiled. He pulled Jiang Chen's arm and stood up. Let's go. Follow me and senior brother Xiaoyun to the southern region. I'll let you continue to pretend in the ancient Dharma Void Dragon clan. Ha ha! Long Dade was relieved when he heard Jiang Chen's words. He laughed heartily. After persuading Long Dade, the 3 of them left the sect without hesitation and rushed to the southern region. Southern region Blazing Phoenix clan. Jiang Chen stood in front of the fire boundary. Elder Jiang Chen? The clansmen guarding the ward put down their weapons as soon as they saw Jiang Chen. They cupped their hands and greeted him. Jiang Chen nodded at him and walked into the boundary. Hua Xian quickly came out to welcome Jiang Chen when he felt his aura. However, when he saw that his daughter, Hua Fu, wasn't following behind, he couldn't help but feel a little lonely. Hua Fu is guarding the immortal sect. Jiang Chen saw the change in Hua Xian's expression and explained. As long as you can come back. Hua Xian didn't care about Jiang Chen and Bai Xiaoyun. Instead, he grabbed Jiang Chen's hand and led him inside. In the hall, Jiang Chen explained the purpose of his visit. The happy expression on Hua Xian's face disappeared. Who would have thought that they would actually dare to make a move against you? Huixian clenched his fist, pounded the table, and said, If it weren't for the restriction of the laws of heaven and earth, the race of green python and heavenly snake would have long been removed from the immortal world. Our 10,000 mounts immortal sect wouldn't have encountered such trouble. Clan Chief Huixian, the purpose of my visit this time around is to investigate why the green python heavenly snake clan is so proficient in using the Black Plague. If we can find the reason, we will be able to solve the problem. Jiang Chen nodded and said, Men, bring Chou Su here. Huixian slammed the table heavily and shouted towards the outside. Very soon, Chou Su was brought up by his clansmen. However, compared to what Jiang Chen had seen before, the current Chou Su looked particularly haggard. There was no longer any hateful expression on his face. On the contrary, he was very calm, and his eyes were particularly empty. During the time he was imprisoned, he had tried to escape more than once, but none of his attempts were successful. Even after being discovered by Huixian, he would suffer even more unbearable torture. Clan Chief Chou Su, I didn't expect your clansmen to be so loyal to you. They actually managed to come from the southern region to the northern region and infiltrate the 10,000 mounts immortal sect. Huixian sneered twice when he saw Chou Su and said, Huixian. Chou Su gritted his teeth and looked at him, saying, We are all from the 6 great spirit beast clans. It's fine that you trapped me, but why did you attack my clansmen? I understand. Your clansmen infiltrated the 10,000 mounts immortal sect and attacked Jiangchen. Long Dade stepped forward and reached out to slap the back of Chou Su's head. Clan Chief Chou Su, you're right. Your Green Python Heavenly Snake clan and our Blazing Phoenix clan are both sects of the southern region. We shouldn't kill each other. Jiangchen gave Long Dade a look and said, If you can tell me everything about the Black Plague, I can guarantee your clan's safety. If anyone dares to attack you in the future, I will also lend a helping hand. How about it? In your dreams. What is the Black Plague? I've never even heard of it. Chou Su spat and said loudly, You're not going to tell me? Huixian's expression gradually froze when he saw Chou Su's firm attitude. A murderous intent spread from his body. I've told you many times. If you want to kill me, do it quickly. But if you want to get information from me, dream on. Chou Su raised his head and looked at Huixian with a very creepy smile. Humph! Do you really think I don't dare to kill you? Huixian was thoroughly enraged. He stood up and circulated his immortal force. Even the Guardian clan's boundary trembled slightly. A red palm print shot out. It heavily hit Chou Su's body. Chou Su was in a daze. He didn't expect Huixian to really attack him. But it was too late to regret now. Pa! Under the gaze of Jiangchen and the others, Chou Su's body fell forward to the ground. Huixian's palm strike had even scattered his soul in an instant. Drag him away. Huixian snorted coldly. After retracting his immortal force, he shouted to the outside of the hall. 2 clansmen rushed in and didn't even dare to say a word. They dragged Chou Su's body and quickly left. Clan leader Huixian, this heavenly green python is definitely hiding some unknown secrets. In my opinion, we should make a trip to the water region and investigate this clan. Perhaps we'll be able to find out something we want to know. Jiangchen didn't feel much emotion when Chou Su was killed. Okay. Huixian didn't refuse and immediately agreed. There's no time to lose. Let's leave immediately. Although we can't make this clan disappear completely, it's not a reason for them to be arrogant in front of me. Looking at Huixian's powerful aura, Jiangchen couldn't help but praise him in his heart. This was the aura that a clan leader, a 5th-level immortal king, should have. Although Bai Xianling and Gu Huo were one of the 3 great immortal kings, they weren't strong enough. At least in terms of aura, they were inferior. Clan leader Huixian, don't worry. Dade, go to the ancient dragon clan and ask clan leader Ao Zhan to lead some of the clan's elites to meet us at the Green Heavenly Python clan. Jiangchen stood up and ordered Long Dade. This time, Long Dade knew that he had done something wrong. He didn't say anything and immediately left. After a while, dozens of experts left the Blazing Phoenix clan's boundary and rushed to the Green Heavenly Python clan's habitat. Along the way, many spiritual beasts looked up. They were all guessing what the Blazing Phoenix clan was going to do. Chapter 1932. After a few hours, everyone gathered in the sky above the water realm. Clan leader was Xian, long time no see. Ao Zhan and the others had been waiting here for a long time. When they saw Xian leading the crowd, they quickly went forward to greet him. Clan leader Ao Zhan. Xian also saluted him back. Young master. Ao Zhan looked at Jiang Chun and asked respectfully, "May I know why you gathered us here in such a hurry? Could it be that the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan has offended you?" Clan leader Ao, "I'll explain it to you when we have time in the future," Jiang Chun said casually, glancing at Ao Ting, who was following Ao Zhan. "All right." Ao Zhan did not ask further. However, seeing Jiang Chen's imposing manner and the experts of the Bathing Flame Phoenix clan coming out in full force, they could roughly guess that it was not a simple matter. Everyone! Looking at the experts of the two clans, Jiang Chen took a deep breath and was about to speak. Before he could say anything, Xian saw a slight fluctuation in the barrier and directly flew down. Relying on his own strength, he smashed into the weakest part of the barrier. Seeing that Xian had already made his move, Jiang Chen swallowed his words. Crack! The barrier of the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan was not strong enough to withstand the full blow of a 5th-level Immortal King. The giant python appeared in the air. After letting out a wail, it didn't retaliate and directly dissipated. The moment the giant python disappeared, the barrier crumbled inch by inch. The original appearance of the water realm was revealed. After breaking the barrier, Xian did not stop and directly rushed down. Behind him, more than 100 people rushed down. After losing Chiu Su and Xiu Li, the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan was in chaos. Many of the clansmen fled in all directions. Some of the more courageous ones had the courage to fight. It was just that their strength was not enough to deal with it. The moment they exchanged blows, they were sent flying by the vast immortal power. In just half an hour, the entire sect had fallen. The weaker clansmen were allowed to escape, but those above immortal venerables were captured and brought to an open space. These clansmen did not know why such a thing happened. "Where is your great elder?" Xian glanced at this group of people and remembered that he hadn't seen the great elder of the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan the last time he was here. However, he had been busy dealing with Chiu Su and hadn't thought about it at all. Great elder Great elder is in seclusion," a thin and weak old man said in a trembling voice. "The great elder has been in seclusion for nearly 1,000 years. He said that he would only come out after making a breakthrough in his cultivation." Hearing his words, many of the clansmen sighed. They knew that if the great elder was still around, the clan would not have suffered such a thing. "Oh? Where is he in seclusion?" Xian said coldly. "In a secret chamber under the water." The tribesmen did not dare to lie. They could only point to the water beside them and say, "Young master, Fire Xian clan leader, the two of you stay here. I'll go and bring that old thing out." Ao Zhan bellowed as he leapt into the air. Shortly after, he transformed into a long dragon that flickered with a faint golden glow, and plunged into the water. After the waters calmed down for a while, suddenly, there was an intense fluctuation as streams of immortal energy spread out. Hua! In the time it took to burn an incense stick, the surface of the water boiled. Ao Zhan flew out from within, and in his hand was an old man in a python robe. "Clan leader Ao Zhan, we have no enmity between us. Why did you barge into the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan and interrupt my seclusion?" The old man in the python robe roared. He was at the final juncture of his seclusion, and had even sensed the opportunity to break through to the 5th level of the Immortal King realm. Who would have thought that at such an important time, the secret room he was in would suddenly be destroyed? He was caught off guard and suffered a solid blow. "Elder Chou Yuan." Xian smiled at the old man. "Xian? Chou Yuan was shocked. He looked around and saw that all the clansmen of the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan were injured. Almost all the experts of the Blazing Phoenix clan and the ancient Void Dragon clan had appeared in the clan. Why are the two clans joining forces against us? Where's the clan leader? Where is the clan leader? Chou Yuan looked at the people in front of him warily. He knew that he was no match for them with his strength, but he did not take half a step back. In his mind, the Blazing Phoenix clan and the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan had always been sworn enemies. However, that was only limited to some open and covert struggles. A situation like this had never happened in hundreds of thousands of years. Oh? Seeing the old man's puzzled expression, Jiang Chen's interest was piqued. He asked, "Elder, don't tell me you don't know anything? Huixian, you'd better explain everything clearly. Why did you barge into the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan? Why did you hurt my clansmen? Also, tell me the whereabouts of clan leader Chou Su. Otherwise, I'll protect the sect even if it costs me my life." Chou Yuan could not digest the situation in front of him in a short time. He glared at the people in front of him as immortal force spread out from his body without reservation. He looked like he was ready for a decisive battle. "Your clan leader Chou Su has died in the Blazing Phoenix clan," Huixian said faintly. "Huixian! We are also part of the 6 great spiritual beast clans. Although our Green Python Heavenly Snake clan is far inferior to your Blazing Phoenix clan, you were arrogant enough to kill our clan leader. If we don't take revenge, our clan will not be able to establish itself in the immortal world in the future." Chou Yuan roared and rushed toward Huixian. "Old man, you'd better fight with me first." Ao Zhan's figure appeared and stopped him. The two instantly clashed. The aftermath of the fight caused the entire water to fluctuate violently. Even the space was faintly unable to withstand it. Ao Zhan was obviously not a match for Chou Yuan, who was going all out. During the fight, there were faint signs that he was going to be defeated. "Chou Su has been killed by me. Do you think I'll allow you, the Great Elder, to cause trouble?" Huixian growled and rushed in when he saw that Ao Zhan was unable to hold on. With the addition of Huixian, Chou Yuan was suppressed almost instantly. As Ao Zhan and Huixian performed their immortal techniques at the same time, Chou Yuan could not resist at all. After taking it head-on, the immortal techniques instantly destroyed his defense and landed on his body. Barf! Chou Yuan spat out a mouthful of blood. "Old man, I've really underestimated your strength." Ao Zhan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and prepared to leap forward and kill him directly. "Clan leader Ao Zhan, please wait," Huixian quickly said. "You've already killed Chou Su. Do you want to leave him alive to plant a disaster in the future?" Ao Zhan stopped and asked in confusion. Chapter 1933. He's still useful to us. Huixian stepped forward, grabbed Chou Yuan's robe, and led him to the hall on the stone steps. "Young master, what's going on?" Ao Zhan was at a loss. He didn't know what had happened. He only listened to Jiang Chen and Huixian and did whatever they told him to do. "Clan leader Ao Zhan, watch over these clansmen first." Jiang Chen knew that Huixian wanted to ask Chou Yuan. After instructing Ao Zhan, he followed Huixian up the stone steps. There were only 3 people in the large hall. Chou Yuan sat on a chair, panting heavily. If his cultivation hadn't improved after 1,000 years of seclusion, he would have been seriously injured and killed when Huixian and Ao Zhan joined forces. "Clan leader Huixian, why did you attack our Green Python Heavenly Snake clan and why did you kill clan leader Chou Su? I hope you can give me an explanation." After panting for a while and feeling a little better, Chou Yuan stared at Huixian. He didn't expect that his clan would become like this after 1,000 years of seclusion. "It seems that clan leader Chou Yuan really doesn't know." Huixian smiled. Then, he told him everything that had happened in the past 1,000 years, including Chou Su joining forces with Wu Yuanba to attack him and Chou Li sneaking into the 10,000 Creations immortal sect. Chou Yuan was dumbfounded. Listening to Huixian's words, he didn't believe that their clan would do such a thing. Elder Cho Yuan, now tell me, should Cho Su and Cho Li be killed? Hu Xian looked at him and asked in a low voice. Impossible! This is absolutely impossible! Cho Yuan struggled to stand up and waved his hand at Hu Xian. Although our Green Python Heavenly Snake clan is weak, we are at least one of the 6 great spirit beast clans in the southern region. We can't do such a thing. Clan leader Hu Xian must have misunderstood. It's a done deal. Elder Cho Yuan, don't insist. Looking at Cho Yuan's fearful and confident look, Jiang Chen felt a little sad. How is this possible? Our Green Python Heavenly Snake clan has always been in the southern region. How could we have anything to do with that person? And how could the Black Plague exist in our clan? Cho Yuan still shook his head. He found it hard to believe Hu Xian's words. Since Elder Cho Yuan does not believe me, then let us, the Bathing Flame Phoenix clan and the Ancient Fire Dragon clan, thoroughly investigate the water region. If we can find it, it will be enough to prove my words. If Ziyi doesn't believe me, you can go out and ask your clansmen and hear what they have to say. After Hu Xian said that, he stood up and walked to the entrance of the hall. Everyone, search the waters. We must find the Black Plague. Hu Xian shouted as he looked at the clansmen of his clan and the ancient Fanshu Dragon clan. Yes, Patriarch. Dozens of experts from the Blazing Phoenix race nodded their heads in agreement. Soon after, they scattered in all directions. Black Plague. Ao Zhan was a little surprised, but he quickly recovered. With a wave of his hand, the experts of the ancient Dharma Void Dragon clan also dispersed. After Hu Xian finished speaking, Cho Yuan hurriedly ran out and asked every clansman. However, the information he received was almost the same as what Hu Xian had said. When he asked the last disciple and learned the same thing, he could only accept this fact even if he did not believe it in his heart. Plop! Cho Yuan sat down on the ground as if all his strength had been sucked out. He looked at the huge water region and really could not understand why such a thing would happen after he had gone into seclusion. Elder Cho Yuan, do you believe Patriarch Hu Xian's words now? Jiang Chen walked in front of him with his hands behind his back and asked. Who are you? Cho Yuan raised his head and looked at Jiang Chen. The young master of the 10,000 Mounts Immortal Sect, Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen said faintly. If Chiu Li had not attacked my immortal sect, I would not have gone to this extent. You only have yourself to blame for this. Young Lord Jiang, this matter was entirely done by clan leader Chiu Su alone. I didn't know anything about it at all. I'll help you find the Black Plague in the clan. Please let us Green Python Heavenly Snake clansmen go. Cho Yuan looked at Jiang Chen. He saw a trace of the 10,000 Mounts Immortal Lord on this young man's face. Elder Cho Yuan, do you know where it is? Jiang Chen raised his eyebrows. I don't know. If you had not told me, I would not have known that Patriarch had done such a thing in the past tens of thousands of years without telling me. However, I know of a few more secret places in the water realm. The treasures of our Green Python Heavenly Snake clan are stored in these places. I'm guessing that if the Black Plague really exists in the sect, it's definitely in one of these places. Cho Yuan shook his head and said, Lead the way. Looking at his seriously injured appearance, Jiang Chen knew that he would not play any tricks. This way, please. Cho Yuan stretched out his hand and stood up with difficulty. He looked at these clansmen and could not help but sigh deeply. If they had told him about this situation earlier, perhaps the clan would not have fallen to this point. But it was too late to say these things now. Cho Yuan's only wish was that Jiang Chen would show them mercy and spare their lives. Following behind Cho Yuan, Jiang Chen swooped directly into the water region. In the area hundreds of meters underwater, he saw a hall completely submerged in the water. Cho Yuan swam over there, led Jiang Chen through the boundary, and entered inside. Young Master Jiang, this was the place where our clan's ancestor used to live. Since his death, he had dived into the water region and sealed it with a boundary. Some of the clan's treasures are stored in it. The Black Plague is very likely to be in it. Looking at the magnificent hall in front of him, Cho Yuan seemed to be able to see the glory of the clan in the past. Unfortunately, although they were still among the 6 great spirit beasts, the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan had declined too much. And now, because of Patriarch, the sect had declined again. Elder Cho Yuan, lead the way, Jiang Chen said as he dried the water on his clothes. Young Master Jiang, please. Cho Yuan came back to his senses, smiled bitterly, and walked into the hall. When they entered the main hall, the first thing they saw was a dense array of treasures placed in front of them. Immortal skills, pills, herbs, all kinds of weapons. Young Master Jiang Chen? Cho Yuan asked when he saw Jiang Chen standing there in a daze. Nothing, I didn't expect the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan to have so many treasures. Jiang Chen came back to his senses and said casually. He had secretly made up his mind to find an opportunity to put all these things into the immortal sect. These are nothing. Cho Yuan smiled bitterly. What was the use of having treasures? The clan was almost destroyed. Chapter 1934. Jiang Chen observed these things carefully. Then he followed Cho Yuan into the inner area. This is the place I was talking about. Cho Yuan pointed inside the hall and said, Young Master Jiang, let's split up and try to find the Black Plague as soon as possible so that our Green Python Heavenly Snake clan can get rid of it and become a normal sect again. Okay. Jiang Chen nodded. He walked to the left. Walking along the passage, Jiang Chen was still thinking about the treasures outside, but it didn't seem very good to take them away in front of the first elder. Shaking his head, Jiang Chen decided to find the Black Plague first. There was almost nothing in the few areas on the left. It looked as if all the treasures in the entire hall had been gathered outside. After walking around for a while, Jiang Chen came to a stone door. After pushing it open, he saw some immortal arts and immortal techniques inside. There are still some gains. Jiang Chen smiled and went forward to put all the scrolls into the storage ring. No matter how declining the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan was, it was still one of the 6 great spirit beast clans. These immortal arts must be more advanced than those outside. When Jiang Chen was putting away the last book of the magical method, Jiang Chen's expression changed. Suddenly, the wall in front of him transmitted the fluctuation of a mechanism. Jiang Chen frowned slightly. This was the ability given to him by the Emperor Qianji's mechanism technique, which allowed him to perceive all the mechanisms nearby. In his perception, this stone wall was a mechanism. Interesting. Jiang Chen smiled. It was so well hidden that it would be difficult for others to find it except for him. Pressing his hands on the stone wall, Jiang Chen closed his eyes and tried to crack the mechanism. Under the spread of invisible waves, the stone wall collapsed. Jiang Chen took a deep breath and stepped forward. In an instant, the stone wall was restored. It was pitch black inside, and there was only a faint light at the end of the line of sight. You are not the clan leader of the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan. You will die if you trespass. An unusually old voice sounded. This voice seemed to have traveled through hundreds of thousands of years. Oh? Or is it a place that only the Patriarch can enter? Jiang Chen was a little surprised. He looked around and could vaguely see that he was inside a very large barrier. Before Jiang Chen could walk over, there was a sudden breeze in the darkness. Jiang Chen also sensed the danger. Shua! He leaned to the back and shot out a poisoned arrow. Black Plague? Jiang Chen's eyes were sharp, and he could see a faint turbid air swirling around the arrowhead. Upon seeing this situation, Jiang Chen roughly understood that this was most likely the place where the Black Plague was hidden. After all, Jiang Chen had not seen it anywhere else in the entire Green Python Heavenly Serpent clan. The arrow brushed past Jiang Chen and disappeared into the darkness. Looking at this situation, Jiang Chen leaped towards the end. As he moved, many traps were triggered. There were also immortal arts that came from nowhere mixed in with them. Crack! Jiang Chen stabbed his sword into the ground. There was a clap of thunder. The entire barrier was instantly illuminated. At the end of his vision, Jiang Chen saw a huge portrait. It was a fierce-looking person covered in green scales. From his vertical pupils, it could be seen that he should be an ancestor of the Green Python Heavenly Serpent clan. I am Jiang Chen. I don't mean to offend you. I just found something wrong here and wanted to get rid of it. I hope you won't stop me. Although he was not a member of the Green Python Heavenly Serpent clan, he still had to show respect to an expert who had existed for tens of thousands of years. Come forward. The voice sounded again. Jiang Chen frowned slightly and vaguely felt that something was wrong. But he still took 2 steps forward and stood in front of the huge portrait. Hiss! The ground under his feet suddenly loosened. A snake tail with a black glow quickly stabbed at him. Jiang Chen immediately used the ever-changing heavenly lamp to leave. Ha! It seems that Chiu Su is not the only one who is unclean, but the entire Green Python Heavenly Serpent clan. After jumping and dodging, Jiang Chen held the colorful sword and said with a sneer. After entering this barrier, whether it was the mechanism, the technique, or the snake tail that attacked him just now, all of them were covered in turbid gas. Although it was not as strong as the one used by the black-robed man, it was much more vicious than those used by Chioli. Once contaminated, it would be difficult for him to escape unscathed. Roar! Just as Jiang Chen was about to step forward and pierce the portrait to see if there was anything hidden behind it, a roar sounded. Jiang Chen looked to the side. In the darkness, a strange-looking black-purple beast walked out. Its huge fangs were exposed outside of its mouth, and its 2 pointed and long ears were listening to any sounds made by Jiang Chen. As for its whole body, it was shrouded in turbid gas. Vaguely, it looked like it was completely made of turbid gas. Sure enough, it is not a decent thing. Jiang Chen took a look and almost vomited. After 10 reincarnations, this was simply the ugliest animal he had ever seen. As if the beast had read Jiang Chen's thoughts, it suddenly became angry and rushed toward Jiang Chen. No matter what you are, as long as you are related to the Black Plague, I will get rid of you today. Jiang Chen's heart sank. The long sword in his hand floated in front of him, and after a buzz, it divided into 9 long swords of different colors. The long swords faced him head-on. Jiang Chen did not hesitate and directly activated the extreme ice domain. This thing was so strange that Jiang Chen had to face it with all his strength. Moreover, he did not need to hide his strength in the barrier. While he was continuously using his trump cards, the long sword of thunder that was aimed at the beast's ugly face was directly bitten by it. Crack! The beast used its strength, and the long sword was directly bitten into 3 or 4 pieces. Hiss! Jiang Chen gasped. The beast chewed a few times and swallowed all of the power of thunder into its stomach. Then it suddenly let out a sharp roar. A thunderous attack mixed with the power of thunder blasted toward Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen was a little surprised and did not immediately use the ever-changing heavenly lamp to leave. By the time he reacted, it was already a little too late. Immortal power surged, and a thick wooden stake quickly appeared in front of Jiang Chen. The attack destroyed the wooden stake. Although the wooden stake did not stop it, it was slowed down to a certain extent. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Jiang Chen hurriedly dodged. Swoosh! The attack hit Jiang Chen and disappeared not far away. It can actually devour thunder, attribute immortal power, and turn it into its own attack. Jiang Chen's expression became serious. For a moment, he did not know what to do. Chapter 1935. It would be fine if he could only absorb thunder attribute immortal energy. He still had immortal energy of the other 8 attributes, and could kill this beast. However, if he could absorb all attributes, it would be difficult. Thinking about it was one thing, but Jiang Chen was still prepared to give it a try. Under the control of his mind, the wood and water attribute swords stabbed at the beast again. The beast finally did not open its ugly mouth again. Just when Jiang Chen thought there was no problem, the 2 swords directly pierced through the beast's body. Seeing the 2 swords stabbed into the ground, Jiang Chen's frown deepened. The beast roared twice, as if showing off to Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen was a little helpless. A beast that could absorb immortal energy, and even its body was illusory, it seemed to be useless in close combat. Other than turning around and leaving, he could not think of any other way. The beast seemed to have noticed Jiang Chen's awkwardness. It walked towards him complacently. "Are you the true form of the Black Plague?" Jiang Chen stared at it, and blurted out subconsciously, but soon realized that his words were not accurate. The Black Plague was brought back from an unknown territory by the Black Sky Emperor. Even if it had a true form, it should be in the Black Sect of the Outer Domain, or one of the sects in the Western region. How could it be in the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan? However, even if the thing in front of him was not its true form, it must be an illusion of the Black Plague. Jiang Chen's words completely enraged it. The beast roared at Jiang Chen and opened its mouth. A turbid air gathered in it, and then it spat it out with force. Facing such an attack, Jiang Chen did not dare to face it head-on before he understood the strength of this thing. He could only dodge and throw out an array at the same time. Since immortal techniques were useless, it was not a bad choice to trap it with an array. Crack! The array landed. The beast was firmly bound by iron chains cast from immortal energy. However, it only lasted for a moment. Its body shook and the iron chains directly passed through its body. F***CK! Jiang Chen cursed. Seeing it walk out of the formation, Jiang Chen took a deep breath and looked at it seriously. Without immortal arts and array formations, Jiang Chen didn't have many trump cards left. Chi! A faint sound could be heard. Jiang Chen felt a chill run down his spine. He hurriedly leaped and prepared to dodge. The beast's arrow-like tail was aimed straight at Jiang Chen's back. There's no other way. Jiang Chen barely dodged. The immortal force of the 5 basic attributes in his body gradually merged together under the immortal technique. After coming out of the tomb, Jiang Chen had been trying to understand the fusion method of Emperor Qianji. Up until now, he could only fuse the 5 basic attributes together. As for the other 4, he still couldn't do anything. This was Jiang Chen's true trump card. Even though he knew that this thing could absorb immortal energy, he was still prepared to give it a try. Immortal energy continued to gather in his body. Seeing that the beast was about to rush in front of him, Jiang Chen suddenly stretched out his palm. An attack with 5 different colors flashed out from Jiang Chen's hand. Jiang Chen furrowed his brows. Pa! When the attack came into contact with the beast's body. However, it was not absorbed like before. Instead, it hit him squarely. The fluctuations spread in all directions. The wild beast was sent flying by the bombardment. Before Jiang Chen had time to be happy, a big black mouth pounced on him from top to bottom. Jiang Chen suddenly felt that something was wrong. He hurriedly urged his immortal energy to leave. I've finally found you! At the critical moment, the barrier was suddenly broken. The shadow of the phoenix flew up and lit up the entire barrier. Fire Xian clan leader? Jiang Chen raised his head and looked in the direction of the voice. Fire Xian rushed in front of Jiang Chen. With a light wave of his hand, the beast was sent flying again. Young master, it's all thanks to Chou Yuan that we rushed over. Fire Xian clan leader that was transformed from the Black Plague. Moreover, it can absorb immortal techniques. Don't underestimate it. Jiang Chen hurriedly said as he looked at the beast that stood up again. Is that so? Fire Xian stretched out his hand to his chest and suddenly stretched it out. Immortal energy in the form of flames surged out. After that thing sensed the immortal energy approaching, it opened its mouth again, ready to swallow Fire Xian's attack. Unfortunately, how could the full-force attack of a 7th-stage immortal king be so easily digested? After swallowing the attack, the beast suddenly swelled up. Then, it let out a painful wail and exploded. Seal of the 10 Directions! Another familiar voice sounded from behind. A white figure flashed in front of Jiang Chen and slapped down with both hands. 10 white pillars of light appeared and directly trapped him. The dispersing turbid chi was all firmly contained. The pillars of light kept shrinking and finally condensed to the size of a palm. Bai Xiaoyun gently hooked her hand and the light floated into her palm. Within it, a small ball of black turbid energy was sealed. Fire Xian looked at the thing in Bai Xiaoyun's hand and asked, Is this the source of all the Black Plague? It should be the source of the Black Plague in the Azure Python Heavenly Snake clan. Jiang Chun looked inside the barrier and didn't feel anything amiss. Fire Xian clan leader, did you find anything outside? Jiang Chun took 2 deep breaths. No, the water is very normal. We didn't find anything wrong. Fire Xian shook his head and said, when we came in, we also asked the ancient Dharma Void Dragon clan to investigate the other areas in the hall. Jiang Chun nodded. After calming down for a while, the 3 prepared to leave. Thank you, everyone. All of a sudden, an extremely weak and hoarse voice came from behind. Jiang Chun looked back. He happened to see a soul break free from the portrait and fall to the ground as soon as it did. Who is it? Because of the plague's true form, the 3 were a little vigilant. Don't be afraid, I'm the clan leader of the Azure Python Heavenly Snake clan, Chou Tianji. The soul body sat on the ground and looked up at the 3 of them, panting heavily as he spoke. Chou Tianji? Isn't Chou Su the clan leader of the Azure Python Heavenly Snake clan? Bai Xiaoyan asked curiously. This person should be a clan leader before Chou Su. As far as I can remember, when he was in charge of the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan, this clan was almost the strongest among the 6 great spiritual beast clans. At that time, I should only have the cultivation of a golden immortal and was still a young person in the clan. Later, for some reason, this person suddenly disappeared from the southern region. Some said that something went wrong during his seclusion, others said that his time was up, and some said that he went to an unknown territory. Chapter 1936. I didn't expect to see him here. Looking at this person, Hu Xian thought for a moment, and said slowly. This person and the Black Plague have lived here for many years. It's very likely that he's in cahoots with the Black Sect Master and the others. It's better to get rid of him directly to avoid any trouble in the future. Jiang Chun clenched his fists. This person might have been an immortal king expert who was no weaker than Hu Xian when he was alive. But now he had fallen, leaving only a soul that had supported him for hundreds of thousands of years. His strength was less than 1,000th of his peak. After saying that, Jiang Chun directly rushed forward. The 8 long swords merged into one and slashed toward his head. Little friend, please wait. The soul weakly raised his hand and said, Oh? Do you have anything else to say? Jiang Chun stood in front of him and asked coldly. When I first came in, you asked me to stand in front of the portrait, but you tried to sneak an attack on me. If I don't kill you, are you going to attack me in the future? Little friend, I've been eroded by the Black Plague, and the turbid air has already controlled my soul. It has nothing to do with me. Chou Tianji shook his head with a bitter smile and slowly stood up. When Hu Xian and Bai Xiaoyan walked in front of him, his eyes brightened a little. Little Xuanzi of the Flame Phoenix clan, I remember that you were only a golden immortal at that time. I didn't expect you to grow into such an expert. I'm afraid you're already the clan leader of the Phoenix clan? Chou Tianji looked at Hu Xian and asked. Yes, I'm indeed the current clan leader of the Flame Phoenix clan. Senior Tianji, what's the situation with the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan now? Why would Chou Su? Hu Xian nodded and was about to ask about the situation. You don't have to continue. Chou Tianji showed a pained expression and said, Although I've been controlled by the Black Plague all these years, I still know what happened. That year, when I was in seclusion, he suddenly broke into the sect and injured me. I was prepared to escape with my soul body and seek revenge in the future. I didn't expect him to be so much stronger than me. In front of him, I didn't even have the chance to resist. I could only obediently wait to be captured. He trapped me here and left behind a cloud of turbid air, which is what you call the Black Plague. It's nourished by the energy of my soul. What disappointed me was that Chou Su actually borrowed the strength of the Black Plague in order to subdue the Bathing Flame Phoenix tribe. Fortunately, this little brother came here today and killed that thing. Otherwise, not only would I have continued to be trapped here, but even my clan would have disappeared. Hearing his words, Jiang Chun let go of his hand. She could hear the pain, helplessness and sadness in Chou Tianji's words. It was the saddest thing in the world for an expert to fall to such a state. Who is he? Hu Xian asked. Senior Tianji was an expert in the 8th layer of the Immortal King realm back then. How could he have been injured to the point where he could only escape using his spiritual body? Even our spiritual beast clans did not receive any news about this. You can't guess? Chou Tianji smiled bitterly. Black Sky Emperor? A figure flashed in Jiang Chen's mind. To be able to defeat an expert in the 8th layer of the Immortal King realm and nourish the Black Plague with his spiritual body, apart from this person, Jiang Chen could not think of anyone else. Yes, it's him. When he came to our Green Python Heavenly Snake clan, he was already seriously injured. Chou Tianji nodded. Seriously injured? Jiang Chen probably knew what was going on. Most likely, Black Sky Emperor escaped after being seriously injured by Emperor Qianji and his mother. He took a fancy to the strength of Chou Tianji and the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan at that time and wanted to leave himself a way out. Forget it, forget it. This is something that happened hundreds of thousands of years ago. He was so badly injured at that time. I'm afraid he has already fallen. Chou Tianji waved his hand, obviously not wanting to say anything more. Senior Chou, it's not like this, Jiang Chen quickly said. The person in front of him was an expert of the same era as Black Sky Emperor. Although only a spiritual body was left now, there was still a chance to return to the peak of the past. I have been obsessed with cultivation all my life. I thought I could touch the threshold of the Immortal Emperor. Who would have thought that I would end up like this? Now in the immortal world, I'm afraid that the group of people I know no longer exist. It's meaningless for me to stay in the immortal world. It's better to experience the life of the lower realm for 10 reincarnations. Chou Tianji did not give Jiang Chen room to speak at all. After talking for a while with his eyes closed, the expression on his face gradually relaxed. Then a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. After the spiritual body flashed a strange light, it dissipated. F***CK. Jiang Chen reached out to grab and was ready to stop him. Unexpectedly, he was still a step too slow. His palm grabbed nothing in front of him. Reincarnation? Hu Xian was also a little stunned and said, You want to experience my life? Jiang Chen also did not know whether to laugh or cry. Who would have thought that this dignified master of the 8th layer of the Immortal King realm would choose to take the initiative to reincarnate? Back then, he had no choice but to go down. After going through a lot of hardships, he stood here again. Sigh. I really don't know what these experts are thinking. Bai Xiaoyan sighed faintly. Maybe the pressure in the immortal world is too great. Hu Xian looked at the huge portrait in front of him and said, After going to the lower realm, there are no such complicated things. Moreover, with his wisdom, he can live very well. While everyone was talking, the huge portrait slowly dissipated. Crack! After Chou Tianji's appearance completely disappeared, the entire hall suddenly shook. Hurry up and leave this place. This hall is about to collapse. Hu Xian instantly detected that something was amiss, and he shouted in a low voice, grabbed Jiang Chen's arm, and flew outside. At the same time, the people of the ancient Dharma Void Dragon clan also rushed outside, afraid that they would be buried here. Wait! When passing by outside, Jiang Chen looked at the treasures on the ground and said, What's wrong? Hu Xian stopped and asked. The collapse of the hall where an 8th layer immortal king lived was not a small matter. Jiang Chen took out his storage ring. A huge suction force burst out. He put all the good things inside. Hu Xian was a little stunned when he saw Jiang Chen's fast actions. Seeing Jiang Chen's actions, the corners of Chou Yuan's mouth twitched twice, and he could not help but remind him. Young Master Jiang, these things belong to our Azure Python Heavenly Snake clan. Elder Chou Yuan, these things will disappear with the hall forever. It's too late for you to take them out. Why don't you give them to me as a favor? Jiang Chen did not feel awkward. Chapter 1937. Without giving Jiang Chen a chance to speak, Hu Xian dragged him out of the water. As soon as they steadied themselves, A strong fluctuation came from below. What an expensive favor! Chou Yuan's heart trembled. Jiang Chen's actions just now had dug out all the secrets of the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan, and he couldn't say anything about it. After all, it wasn't easy for these people to let the clan go. As for those things, so what if they lost them? Elder Chou Yuan. Hu Xian let go of Jiang Chen and looked at the elder in python robes beside him. Patriarch Hu Xian. Chou Yuan hurriedly cupped his hands and said, Patriarch Hu Xian, this is all Chou Su and Chou Li's actions. It has nothing to do with the ordinary clansmen of our clan. I hope you can give us a way out for the sake of our fellow spirit beast clans. No, no, no. Hu Xian shook his head with a smile. Huh! Chou Yuan froze. His heart ached. With the clan's current strength, they were no match for Hu Xian and Ao Zhan. We understand the real situation now. From now on, the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan will still be one of the 6 great spirit beast clans. It's time to let bygones be bygones. You'll be in charge of the clan from now on. Patriarch Ao Zhan, and I will help you if you need anything. However, if something similar happens again, I'd rather violate the laws of heaven and earth and make the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan disappear from the world of immortals. Hu Xian clasped his hands behind his back and thought about Chou Tianji's words. Don't worry, Patriarch Hu Xian. The Green Python Heavenly Snake clan will never have anything to do with the Black Plague again. Chou Yuan was overjoyed when he heard that an opportunity had come. He hurriedly promised. Ao Zhan looked at Hu Xian. He didn't know why he'd suddenly said that, but when he remembered that Jiang Chen was here, he tacitly agreed. There shouldn't be any conflicts between the 6 great spirit beast clans in the first place. Let's go home. Hu Xian glanced at the water, then turned to the clan's experts. Yes, Patriarch. Everyone responded in deep voices. Young Master Jiang Chen. Seeing that Jiang Chen also had the intention to leave, Chou Yuan hesitated for a while and said, Elder Chou Yuan, you can't be so stingy. Jiang Chen stroked the storage ring on his finger. No, no, young Lord Jiang Chen, you misunderstood me. Chou Yuan hurriedly waved his hand and explained. Just take those things as a gift to young master. Chou Li brought a lot of trouble to the 10,000 Mounts Immortal sect, so take it as compensation. Is there anything else? Jiang Chen felt relieved. What I mean is, now that the Bathed Flame Phoenix clan and the ancient Dharma Void Dragon clan have joined the 10,000 Mounts Immortal sect, does our Green Python Heavenly Snake clan have the same opportunity? Chou Yuan rubbed his hands. Are you seeking my help? Jiang Chen asked with a smile as he looked at the dilapidated waters. That's also part of the reason. Chou Yuan did not dare to reject him directly. Instead, he smiled awkwardly. I hope that young Master Jiang Chen can give us this opportunity. Our Green Light Heavenly Snake clan will definitely work for the Immortal Sect with you as our core. Let me think about it. Jiang Chen did not immediately agree. After saying this, he followed the crowd and left the waters. Chou Yuan stood where he was and looked at their backs. When they were completely out of sight, he sighed. He looked at the devastated waters. Great Elder, now that the sect master has been killed by them, what should we do? A few disciples who had not dared to speak or move quickly gathered around and asked. What should be done is done. I'm warning you, if anyone has any evil thoughts in the future, don't blame me for being the first to kill him. Chou Yuan threatened in a low voice as he looked at the dozens of clansmen in front of him. Back at the Bathed Flame Phoenix clan, Ao Zhan sat there for a while and then left. Jiang Chen, you've just arrived in the southern mountain range. I'm about to send someone to deliver a message to the Immortal Sect. Hu Xian rubbed his face. He had been in such a hurry to go to the waters and experience such a situation that he had almost forgotten about the important matter. What message? Jiang Chen asked. 10 days later, the mountain-valley barrier in the southern mountain range will loosen. It's a great time to enter. Are you interested? Hu Xian asked. What is the mountain valley? Jiang Chen had never heard of this name. It's an area sealed in a barrier. It was jointly built by the first sect masters of the 6 great spirit beast clans. There are treasures they placed inside, as well as immortal methods and immortal skills from ancient times. Unfortunately, I don't remember any clansman being able to bring anything out from there. Huixian sighed regretfully at this point. The first sect master? Jiangchen thought of the clan leader of the sky-devouring Golden Dragon clan. Yes, the mountain valley has existed for millions of years. When I was young, I went in a few times, but I never succeeded. Huixian nodded and said, Clan leader Huixian, don't joke around. If even you can't bring anything out, I'm afraid I can't either. Jiangchen was immediately discouraged. On this trip to the southern region, he had already earned a lot from the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan. He did not expect to earn a lot from other places. It still depends on luck. Huixian quickly explained when he saw Jiangchen flinching. However, it's not just the 6 great spirit beasts. The other spirit beast clans in the southern region can also enter. Even the cultivators who know the news are qualified to enter. However, their chances of obtaining treasures are much lower than yours. Won't the fertile water flow to other people's fields? Jiangchen frowned slightly. He would never do such a dispersing act in his life. The magnanimity of those clan leaders is not something we can compare to. Huixian laughed. However, your luck has always been good. I think you should have a chance. Jiangchen did not know what to say. His luck was good, but it was also really unlucky. Every time he took advantage of a bargain, he had to suffer a little. The 3 places in the clan will be given to you and your 2 friends. Huixian continued when he saw that Jiangchen did not refuse. Then I'll accept your offer. Jiangchen cupped his hands and said, Oh, right. You have to remember that the mountain valley will only be open for less than 10 days. Regardless of whether you can obtain treasures or not, you must come out within 10 days. Otherwise, even I can't save you. You will be trapped in there for 10,000 years. You can only come out the next time it opens. However, if you really lose track of time and stay in there, you must go east. You have the bloodline power of our Flame Phoenix clan in your body. That is the territory of our clan. The beasts in the valley will not dare to step in and hurt you. Huixian thought for a moment, and reminded him. Chapter 1938. Clan leader Huixian knows so much about it. It seems like you've been in there a lot. Jiangchen replied casually. He didn't have much hope in his heart. Even Huixian couldn't get anything good after going in several times. He didn't have a chance either. However, it was hard to refuse such kindness. He wouldn't lose anything if he went in to take a look. I guess so. Huixian's face flashed with a trace of unnaturalness. He couldn't tell Jiangchen that he had gone in twice and had lost track of time in the end. He stayed in there for 10,000 years before coming out. If he said that, his dignity as the clan leader would no longer exist. All right, I'll go in and take a look in 10 days. Jiangchen didn't notice anything wrong and agreed immediately. Since the second day Jiangchen stayed in the Phoenix clan, he had already felt a strange fluctuation in the entire space. This fluctuation seemed to be guiding him to a certain place. Jiangchen could roughly guess that it should be the fluctuation caused by the opening of the mountain valley. When the fluctuation became more and more intense, 10 days quietly passed. All the disciples of the Phoenix clan were eager to give it a try. Even though they knew that the possibility of obtaining benefits from it was very low, and they had never heard of anyone being able to bring anything out of it, this kind of free lunch made them scramble like ducks. Even though they couldn't obtain any treasures, they could go in and take a look at the things left behind by the Phoenix clan's ancestors. Perhaps they could gain some enlightenment and improve their cultivation rapidly. On the 10th day, all the clansmen gathered at the door. They were waiting for Huixian to choose 3 people from among them to enter the mountain valley. This time, the mountain valley will be entered by Jiangchen and the 2 friends he brought with him. Huixian didn't waste any time and directly said to the clansmen who had gathered in front of him. Ah! The clansmen felt that it was normal but also unfair. Now that Jiangchen was in the clan, they knew that Jiangchen would definitely be one of the 3 spots, so they were all wondering if they could get the remaining 2 spots. But now, the clan leader had directly said that he would give it to the people who came with Jiangqin. This made them very displeased. Hearing their whispers, Hu Xian asked, "If you have any opinions, feel free to say them." "No. No." Everyone shook their heads. Even if they were unhappy, they didn't dare to say it out loud. "Then let's disperse. Although you don't qualify to enter the valley, you are free to enter the clan's magic technique pavilion for 3 days. Whether or not you can comprehend any of the clan's top immortal skills will depend on your own abilities." A smile appeared on Hu Xian's face as he spoke to them. Immediately, the group of disciples became excited. Entering the mountain valley was only a chance to obtain the treasures inside, and the chance was so small that it was almost zero. However, the spell's pavilion was different. As the strongest of the 6 great spiritual beasts, the Bathed in Flames Phoenix clan had many top-notch immortal arts in the pavilion. Some of them could only be comprehended by the sect master, the elders, and the eldest Mississippi ordinary disciples like them didn't even have the chance to touch it. However, Hu Xian's words made them realize that their chance to come into contact with a top-notch immortal art had arrived. If he could successfully comprehend it, his cultivation might improve by a large margin. He might even be qualified to become the new leader of the tribe, or even the new elder. Immediately, the dissatisfaction of not being able to enter the valley was washed away. After satisfying the disciples, Hu Xian returned to the main hall with a smile. Jiangqin and the other 2 had already packed up and were waiting here. Hu Xian looked at Jiangqin and reminded in a deep voice, "You must remember to come out within 10 days. Jiangqin nodded. Under the gaze of all the disciples, Jiangqin and the other 2 left the barrier. In a mountain range thousands of miles away from the Bathed in Flames Phoenix clan, many cultivators from the southern region had already gathered. Most of them were spiritual beasts, and there were also rogue cultivators from the southern region. As for those outside the southern region, although some people knew about the mountain valley, they didn't have much interest in it. If they entered the southern region and tried to enter the mountain valley, they would definitely arouse the dissatisfaction of the spiritual beasts in the southern region. They might even fight with them. Based on the information they received, almost no one could bring anything out of the mountain valley. Under these conditions, no one would take the risk to enter the mountain valley. "Look, that's Jiangqin. Is it true? He integrated with the power of the Bathed in Flames Phoenix clan's bloodline? I heard that even the ancient dragon clan is very polite to him. I even saw them go to the water region some time ago. That's the green python heavenly snake's territory. Who is he? He's only at the 5th level of the divine realm. How can he be on good terms with the 3 major clans at the same time? You don't know about this. He's the young master of the 10,000 Mounts Immortal sect. He ascended from the lower realm after 10 reincarnations. He must have some ability. No matter how capable he is, he's only at the 5th level of the divine realm. He's nothing in our eyes." After Jiangqin and the other 2, almost everyone's gaze was fixed on them. Even though the southern field was different from other places, where almost all spirit beast clans didn't show up, they had heard some rumors about Jiangqin. Jiangqin was used to attracting attention wherever he went. Therefore, he naturally chose to ignore them. "That's what the Fire Xian clan's clan master said. The barrier will probably be opened in 1 or 2 hours, Jiangqin said to the 2 people behind him in a deep voice as he looked at the dense forest in front of him. "I wonder how this place compares to the overseas immortal graveyard." Bai Xiaoyan observed the situation around her. "It can't compare." Jiangqin shook his head and said without hesitation. The overseas immortal graveyard was the hometown of his mother, and Bai Xiaoyan. There were even half-step immortal emperor experts like Murong Chantian. The strength of various sects was not bad. If it wasn't for the seal, it would probably be a well-known force in the immortal world. Presumably, the mountain valley built by the ancestors of the 6 great spiritual beasts seemed to be a little unsightly. "This time, I must find a suitable weapon in there." Long Dade touched his storage ring. The sky-splitting spear was lying in it. Although it belonged to him on the surface, Jiangqin could take it away at any time if he wanted. "I hope so." Jiangchen smiled and said, Jiangchen! Young Master Jiangchen! A voice sounded behind him. The three of them turned around at the same time. The person standing behind was none other than Ao Ting of the ancient Dharma Void Dragon clan. Behind him were two clansmen with decent cultivation levels. They seemed to be the best in the clan. What do you want? I'm warning you. If you dare to make a move again, clan leader Ao Zhan will definitely not let you off easily. Long Dade looked at him warily. The sky-splitting spear flashed in his hand as he pointed it at him. Chapter 1940. Okay. Jiangchen nodded. They headed straight for the mountain range. Ao Ting exhaled a mouthful of turbid air, turned around and slapped his clansman. Brother Ao Ting, he's not the young lord, and his words are too harsh. How can we tolerate it? After the pain, the two clansmen covered their faces and complained. As long as you're with the young lord, you can't. These two slaps are just to teach you a lesson. If something like this happens again, you'll be punished by the clan leader. Ao Ting pointed at their noses and scolded them softly. Then, he glanced at the direction Jiangchen and the other two had left, and rushed towards the neighboring mountain range. The two clansmen covered their faces. Even though they were very unhappy, they did not dare to say anything. They could only follow with a stomach full of grievances and disappear into the mountain range. In this mountain range, Jiangchen was not the only one here. There were other clansmen here as well. Jiangchen purposely kept a distance from them. Anyway, he did not have much hope for treasures in the mountain valley. If he was lucky, it would be great if he could get it. If not, it would not matter. You too. Long Dade came in excitedly, but he did not expect Jiangchen and Bai Shaoyun to sit on the ground. No hurry, we still have 10 days. Jiangchen leaned on the tree trunk. From time to time, there would be waves of energy from the fights between cultivators. Brother Dade, if you're interested, you can look for it yourself. See if you can find any treasures. Apprentice younger brother Jiangchen and I will take a rest here. F***CK. Long Dade was unwilling. Seeing that Jiangchen and Bai Shaoyun had no intention of moving, he could only leave resentfully. He prayed that he would find something good in the spirit shield so that he could show it off in front of the two of them. I say, we can't always rest here. Wouldn't that be the same as not coming? Bai Shaoyun fanned herself and sat beside Jiangchen. Of course not. I'm waiting to feel the waves. Jiangchen shook his head and said. Waves? Bai Shaoyun was a little confused. If one were to talk about fluctuations, there were fluctuations sweeping through the barrier almost all the time. Yes, it's the fluctuations of the Heavenly Serpent clan. Now that Chou Tianji has gone to the lower world and the main hall has been destroyed, there is nothing left of him in the water domain. Perhaps there is something about him in this bounded domain. Jiangchen rested his head on his hands. But this enchantment was built millions of years ago, and Black Sky Emperor made a move on Chou Tianji hundreds of thousands of years ago. There's too much time in between. Bai Shaoyun frowned slightly. She could understand what Jiangchen meant, but it was really difficult to get information from here. Where there is a will, there is a way. Jiangchen did not deny it. Except for Jiangchen and Bai Shaoyun, everyone else was frantically searching inside the barrier. 2 days later, a wave of energy transmitted to Jiangchen. The two immediately opened their eyes. Someone has come to the area of the Heavenly Serpent clan. Jiangchen was delighted. We still don't know where Brother Dade is. Should we find him first? Bai Shaoyun looked around and asked. Don't worry about him. There is no cultivator in this bounded domain who can trouble him. Jiangchen shook his head and shot out in the direction of the fluctuation. Thousands of miles away from the main hall. Compared to other places with verdant hills and limpid waters, this place was indeed a vast swamp. A huge green python poked its head out of the swamp, its sharp teeth almost as long as a human's. Jiangchen and Bai Shaoyun's two figures appeared here. The people who were rushing into the snake's head turned back to look. It seems that we have to go in through the snake's mouth. Seeing such a strange scene, Jiangchen felt a chill. The two stepped on the swamp and walked toward the giant python. Many cultivators stepped aside. They did not dare to offend Jiangqin, and even more so the three spirit beast clans behind Jiangqin. After entering through the python's mouth, Jiangqin arrived at a body of water. The cultivators inside did not pay attention to the two at all, busy searching for treasures. Ignoring these cultivators, Jiangqin walked straight in. "Kid, don't you know the rules?" Seeing that Jiangqin was about to rush in, several cultivators directly blocked in front of him. These people had snow-white hair, cold auras, and faint marks on their foreheads. "Oh? There are some rules in this mountain valley?" Jiangqin stopped and looked at him with a smile. "Of course, there are rules everywhere in the immortal realm. This mountain valley naturally has them, it's just that you don't know." That person shook his head and said, "Then please tell me what the rules are." Jiangqin clasped his hands behind his back. "My Frost Lion clan is one of the 6 Spirit Beast clans. According to the rules, other clans and rogue cultivators are not allowed to enter. They have to wait until we leave before they can enter to search." That person stared at Jiangqin, suddenly feeling that the person in front of him was somewhat familiar. "I was wondering who was so unruly, so it's you, Jiangqin. You know me?" Jiangqin pointed at himself. "Yes. But even if you have the support of the Blazing Phoenix clan and the Ancient Void Dragon clan, you still have to follow the rules. Hurry up and leave, don't disturb us. Also, remember my name, Han Dong." Han Dong looked at Jiangqin and said with some disdain. He was a member of the Frost Lion clan with pure bloodline power. In the southern region, how could someone like Jiangqin compare to him? "If you stay in there for 10 days, how can I come in?" Jiangqin did not take his words seriously and said, "You can search for your treasures, and I'll go in and do my business. Let's not disturb each other, okay? Jiangqin, you think too highly of yourself." Seeing that Jiangqin did not listen to his advice and wanted to barge in, Han Dong was furious. He waved his hand and said, "Han Zheng, Han Yi, stop him. If he takes one step inside today, he'll be looking down on our Frost Lion clan." In addition to the 3 of them, almost 10 people walked over. These people were ordinary spirit beast clans in the southern region. They were subordinate to the Frost Lion clan, so naturally, they had to listen to Han Dong's orders. As for the other cultivators, they stood at the entrance of the boundary and watched the show. One was the young clan leader of the Frost Lion clan. The other had the support of the Blazing Phoenix clan and the Ancient Void Dragon clan. This level of confrontation was something that had not been seen for hundreds of years. Strange, this is the Frost Lion clan's territory, so it's fine, but this is the Heavenly Green Python's territory. Is it also under your jurisdiction? Looking at the people surrounding her, Bai Xiaoyun was ready to take action. Chapter 1941. Even if it's the territory of the Flame Phoenix clan, you have to obey the rules. Han Dong was impatient. He had never seen someone as difficult to deal with as Jiangqin. In the past, when others saw him, they would obey him honestly. However, in front of the Frost Lion clan, Jiangqin was one of the few who dared to face him directly. "This rule was set by you, right?" Jiangqin still had a faint smile on his face. He didn't take him seriously at all. "Why do you care who set the rules?" Han Dong took a step back and said, "Jiangqin, it seems that you're determined to find trouble. Today, I'll show you what true strength is." The phantom of a white lion appeared. Han Dong's white hair exploded like a lion's mane. A faint mark appeared on his forehead as he pounced directly at Jiangqin. "Leave it to me." Facing an immortal prime, Bai Xiaoyun took a step forward and waved the folding fan in his hand gently. However, the expected sweep of immortal power did not occur. Bai Xiaoyun seemed to have been seriously injured. Although she attacked, it was easily broken by Han Dong. "My cultivation has been suppressed to the 5th level of the Immortal Prime." Bai Xiaoyun's face darkened as he immediately sensed the situation in his body. "Maybe it's because we're inside the barrier." Jiangqin could roughly guess. If there were no restrictions, the patriarchs of the various clans could enter directly. With their immortal monarch and immortal king cultivation, even Hu Xian, who was a 7th level immortal king, let alone 10 days, they could move the entire barrier out in 3 days. Smack! Just as Bai Xiaoyun was in a daze, Han Dong slammed into his body. Bai Xiaoyun staggered a few steps and sat on the ground. Although his cultivation was suppressed, his body still had the strength of an immortal king. It was impossible for him to be injured by Han Dong, who was an immortal prime. "Are you scratching me?" Bai Xiaoyun patted the dust on his robe and asked. "Are you humiliating me?" Han Dong was about to mock him. After all, before entering the mountain valley, he did feel that this person's cultivation was an immortal king. He was about to mock Bai Xiaoyun for being so weak in front of him. Who would have thought that Bai Xiaoyun was even more vicious? That one sentence humiliated him to the point that he was covered in cuts and bruises. "I'm just telling the truth." Bai Xiaoyun blew the dirt off the fan and said, "Okay, stop messing around. You guys go do what you need to do. We still have serious things to do. You're going too far. This is going too far." Han Dong felt as if there was a flame burning in his chest. After all this time, these two people in front of him were treating him like a child. "Han Jing, Han Yi, follow me and kill these two people." Han Dong couldn't bear it anymore. Anyway, the grudges in the mountain valley couldn't be brought to the outside world. Even if he killed Jiangqin here, the Bathing Flame Phoenix clan and the Ancient Dragon clan couldn't do anything to him. "Young clan leader, let's lend a hand too." The other spirit beasts walked to Han Dong's side. Their intentions were clear. They wanted to attack together with Han Dong, and the other two to get rid of Jiangqin and his companion. What a joke! Bai Xiaoyun couldn't help but laugh. 3 immortal sovereigns, cultivators who hadn't even reached the divine immortal realm, actually dared to boast shamelessly in front of her. Even if her cultivation was suppressed to the 5th level of the immortal sovereign realm, it wouldn't be a problem for her to join forces with Jiangqin to get rid of them. "Do you really think you're still an immortal king expert?" Han Dong didn't know the strength of Jiangqin and Bai Xiaoyun. He simply thought that Jiangqin was only at the divine immortal realm, and that his subordinates could easily kill Jiangqin. Bai Xiaoyun might be an immortal king, but her cultivation was suppressed. With 3 immortal sovereigns on his side, it wouldn't be a problem. "If we kill them, will we offend the Ice Lion clan?" Bai Xiaoyun asked in a low voice. "Didn't you hear them say that the grudges here wouldn't be brought outside?" Jiangqin replied with a smile. "What's more, we've offended so many sections. So what if there's another Ice Lion clan?" "That's right," Bai Xiaoyun replied. Then she suddenly shot out. Han Dong and the other 2 were caught off guard and were directly pushed aside by Bai Xiaoyun. "Kill!" Han Dong got up and fought with Bai Xiaoyun along with the other 3. When Jiangqin was about to help, a mere divine immortal realm cultivator stood in his way. "Scram!" Glancing at them, Jiangqin said indifferently. "We're all at the divine immortal realm, so why are you so awesome?" Suddenly being scolded, the few of them didn't quite react. Jiangqin didn't say anything. He didn't even need to use immortal techniques to deal with small fries at the divine immortal realm. With a clench of his fist, boundless immortal energy spread out from his body. Instantly, the expressions of these people changed drastically. Is this the divine immortal realm? He's clearly an immortal lord. Seeing Jiangqin's wave attack, the few of them hurriedly took out their trump cards and prepared to defend themselves. But before they could do anything, Jiangqin's immortal energy bombarded their bodies. They were like dry leaves blown off by the wind. The moment they came into contact with it, they instantly spat out blood and died. Hiss, is this Jiangqin's strength? If you asked me, the people of the Ice Lion clan are really blind. They even dared to provoke Jiangqin. This kid can fight across realms. Even an immortal lord can't lower his guard in front of him, let alone a group of divine immortals with the same cultivation as him. Upon witnessing Jiangqin's strength, many practitioners in the vicinity exclaimed in amazement. Han Dong was beaten back by Bai Xiaoyun, and his qi and blood were unstable. Suddenly he saw his subordinates being killed by Jiangqin without even a chance to defend themselves. Just as he was about to open his mouth to warn him, he felt a burning pain on his face. According to my rules, if you're weak, you have to take a beating. Jiangchen slapped his face and said lightly. Looking at Jiangchen, who had appeared in front of him, Han Dong was finally a little scared. He covered his face and stepped back a few steps, staring at Jiangchen. Without his cooperation, Han Jing and Han Yi, who were slightly weaker, were no match for Bai Xiaoyun. After 3 or 4 rounds, they were lying on the ground, unconscious. Jiangchen, what are you doing? Sensing that Han Jing and Han Yi's aura was weak, Han Dong asked sternly. Get out of here and don't interfere with my business. Otherwise, don't blame me for killing you. Jiangchen kicked Han Sheng's back and directly kicked him in front of Han Dong. Pfft. Han Jing spat out a mouthful of blood. Jiangchen's kick directly broke his spine. Good, very good. I can leave from here, but you just wait. Han Dong knew that he was no match for Jiangchen, so he could only grit his teeth and say ruthlessly. Chapter 1942. After saying those words, Han Dong didn't dare to stay here any longer. He knew that Jiangchen didn't continue to attack him because of his family. If he stayed any longer, he might really die here. After all, the rule of the mountain valley was that conflicts couldn't be spread outside. If something happened to him, the patriarch would be in the wrong if he went to the Blazing Phoenix clan or the ancient Void Dragon clan to avenge him. Bai Xiaoyun couldn't help but laugh as she watched them leave in disgrace. How interesting. I wonder when even venerated immortals and immortals can be so arrogant in front of me. After Han Dong and the others left, the other cultivators in the area of the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan didn't dare to stay any longer for fear that they would accidentally provoke Jiangchen. Even an immortal monarch expert couldn't underestimate the attack he'd casually thrown out just now. Young lord! Just as they were leaving, Ao Ting rushed in with his clansmen. He followed Jiangchen all the way out of the mountain range, but Jiangchen and Bai Xiaoyun were too fast. By the time they arrived, they were already gone. He hurried in because he sensed Jiangchen's immortal power spreading. You're too late. Jiangchen nodded slightly at them. Young lord, did the Frost Lion clan attack you? Ao Ting looked at Jiangchen. He was afraid that Jiangchen would encounter some danger here. How strong is the Frost Lion clan? Bai Xiaoyun asked, knowing that Ao Ting was more familiar with the 6 Spirit Beast clans. White Immortal King, the Frost Lion clan is the strongest of the 6 Spirit Beast clans apart from the Blazing Phoenix clan. Their patriarch's cultivation is at the 6th level of the Immortal King realm. I heard that he's about to break through to the 7th level of the Immortal King realm. At that time, their patriarch's cultivation will be on par with the Blazing Phoenix clan's patriarch. Ao Ting thought for a moment and said, 6th level of the Immortal King realm? Jiangchen raised his eyebrows. This level of cultivation was already considered to be the strongest in the immortal world. However, Jiangchen was not afraid. That's right. So even though Han Dong and the others' cultivation isn't very high, almost no one in the entire southern region dares to provoke them. It's because Patriarch Han Shuangtian's strength is too strong. Ao Ting nodded and replied, You guys can go outside. The White Immortal King and I have some things to do. Without us, you guys are not allowed to enter. Jiangchen made a mental note of this person. He looked up at the courtyard in front of him and walked in. Young master, what if someone else comes in? Should we stop them? Ao Ting was just about to take people out when he suddenly thought of this. He quickly turned his head and asked, Others? Jiangchen smiled and said, I think the others don't dare to come in anymore. Understood. Ao Ting also thought of the wave of energy that Jiangchen had just swept out. Since all the experts' cultivations were suppressed to the 5th level of the Immortal Venerable Realm, Jiangchen was really invincible here. Ao Ting quickly left the room. Standing in the swamp, he saw quite a number of cultivators walking towards him. But there was no doubt that when they passed by the swamp, they would take a detour for fear of provoking the devils inside. TSK, Chou Tianji is an expert of the 8th level of the Immortal King realm. Why is his residence in the mountain valley so shabby? It looks even worse than our heaven's secret pavilion. Walking into the courtyard, Bai Xiaoyan couldn't help but say after glancing around. It's most likely his residence before he became an expert. Jiang Chun was more familiar with this situation. During his 10 reincarnations, he had seen many experts living in shabby places. Perhaps at their cultivation level, they didn't care about external conditions anymore. As long as there was a place to shelter them from the wind and rain, they could rest. Let's go in and take a look. After walking around the courtyard for a while, Jiang Chun didn't see anything valuable and immediately walked in. But just as he stepped into the hall, he was suddenly repelled by a repulsive force. Plop! Jiang Chun flew directly to the entrance of the courtyard. Little junior brother. Bai Xiaoyan quickly turned around and helped Jiang Chun up. It seems that it's not so easy to enter. Jiang Chun scratched his head and frowned slightly. No wonder no one has been able to take away the treasures from the mountain valley for so many years. It turns out that it's blocked by these barriers. I'm afraid that even an ancient immortal king would find it difficult to break the barriers set up by an 8th-level immortal king. Bai Xiaoyan sighed and said helplessly. Indeed. Jiang Chun didn't refute her words. Even though he had obtained an ancient immortal king, his current cultivation was still too weak. Moreover, he wasn't very familiar with formations and barriers. He was only limited to being able to use ancient formations and break formations that weren't much different from his own cultivation. This old thing is really deliberately making things difficult for us. We just freed him, but he ran directly to the lower realm to experience the 10 reincarnations. If it had been a little later, we would have been able to enter easily. Bai Xiaoyan crossed her arms and said with some dissatisfaction. If he was still here, we wouldn't have to come here. Jiang Chun also said. Chou Tianji had left him with too many questions. Why did Black Sky Emperor choose to go to the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan after being severely injured by his mother and Emperor Qianji? Was it just a coincidence, or did the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan have something to do with his mother? Jiang Chun wanted to know the answer to this question. Little junior brother, since you have the purest bloodline power of the Flame Phoenix clan in your body, why don't you go to the Phoenix clan's area to take a look first? Maybe you can get some enlightenment from there. When you come back, you might be able to enter easily. Bai Xiaoyan walked around the courtyard twice but didn't find anything. 10 days might not be enough. Jiang Chun also thought about this. However, the mountain valley was only open for less than 10 days. If he wasted too much time in the Phoenix clan, he might not have the chance to come here again. He also wouldn't be able to solve the mystery of why Black Sky Emperor chose the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan. If he waited for the next opening, 10,000 years would be too long. Think about what Chou Tianji said to you in the Water Realm's main hall. Did you get some way to break the boundary from his words? Bai Xiaoyan frowned and pondered. Nothing. Jiang Chun shook his head. Besides, he wouldn't have expected that he would come to the mountain valley. How could he predict the future? Sitting on a stone bench in the courtyard, Jiang Chun supported his cheek with one hand and stared at the boundary around the house, lost in thought. Bai Xiaoyan also understood very well and didn't say a word. She just quietly accompanied Jiang Chun. Chapter 1943. 4 to 6 hours passed. Jiang Chun still could not think of any solution. But he thought of someone. Jiang Chun stretched out his hand and formed a barrier in his palm. Then, he stored a piece of information into it. Crack! Almost in an instant, the barrier around Jiang Chun collapsed. A pair of hands tore it apart and stepped out. Is that Bai Xianling so unreliable? I think he should just leave his sect. Usually, he doesn't even dare to tell us about his sect. It must be a broken sect. Why don't you stay with me in the enchantment? Gu Hu walked out of the space and scolded. Bai Xiaoyan was a little nervous when he came out. The person in front of her was an ancient immortal king. Bai Xiaoyan had seen him when she was following Bai Xianling. This person scolded her master the moment he appeared. It was very likely that he was here to cause trouble. Little junior brother, be careful. Bai Xiaoyun grabbed Jiang Chen. Be careful? Gu Hua looked at Bai Xiaoyun in astonishment. He felt that this young man was a little familiar, as if he had seen him somewhere before. But he was sure that he had not seen him before. Big senior brother, he's an ancient immortal king. Jiang Chen's face darkened. Hearing Jiang Chen's words, Bai Xiaoyun realized that Jiang Chen was not only her junior brother, but also the disciple of an ancient immortal king. After understanding this, she gradually relaxed. Where is he? Gu Hua ignored Bai Xiaoyun and walked out of the courtyard to look outside. Who is it? Jiang Chen pretended to be confused. Didn't you use a formation to send me a message saying that you were intercepted by an immortal king expert and asked me to come and help? Gu Hua blinked his eyes. Although he did not sense any immortal king's aura, he still did not let down his guard. That's right. But this is what I want you to help me with. Jiang Chen pointed at the house in the courtyard and said, What's that? Gu Hua looked at Jiang Chen in shock. He could already feel the ripples of the barrier from above. Aren't you known as the immortal king with the deepest attainments in formations and barriers in the entire immortal world? I want to go inside to look for something, but I'm blocked outside by a barrier. I called you over because I want you to break it. Jiang Chen shrugged and said honestly. Other than an ancient immortal king, he couldn't think of anyone more suitable than this person. Brat, you called me over just for this? Gu Hua pointed at the barrier and asked. If you don't want to, then go back. Jiang Chen clasped his hands behind his back as he spoke. The white-robed immortal king has always been persuading me to leave your tutelage as soon as possible. He even said that he would give me a peek to immortal art. Initially, I was still hesitating, but now, it seems like I already have my answer. Don't! Hearing this, Gu Hua immediately panicked. Isn't it just a broken barrier? I'll break it for you. Swinging his sleeves, Gu Hua stepped forward and pressed his hand against the door. He sensed a flow of immortal energy within the barrier and closed his eyes. A moment later, Gu Hua gave the barrier a strong push. Under his palm, a gap was forcibly pushed out of the barrier. It's done. Gu Hua clapped his hands and went up to Jiang Chen proudly. He said, When you see Bai Xianling again, ask him if he can break this barrier. This is a barrier set up by an 8th-layer immortal emperor. Bai Xiaoyun's eyes widened. So what if he's an 8th-layer immortal emperor? Even the barrier set up by Xian Jun and Bai Xianling is nothing in front of me. Do you really think I'm an ancient immortal king for nothing? Gu Hua harumphed coldly, as if he was ashamed of Bai Xiaoyun for asking such a question. Thanks. Jiang Chen brought his fists together and said, Hey kid, wait a minute. Gu Hua rubbed his chin and said when he saw Jiang Chen about to enter the barrier. What's wrong, master? Jiang Chen still addressed him as master since he had come so quickly and helped him to break the barrier. Well, even though I can break it, it can only last for 12 hours. It will return to normal after 12 hours, so you should come out as soon as possible. After all, he's an 8th-layer immortal emperor too. The barrier he set up is quite impressive. Gu Hua scratched his head awkwardly. I shouldn't have complimented you. Jiang Chen rolled his eyes. Just call me if you need anything. Gu Hua probably felt the atmosphere was too awkward, so he set up a barrier in the courtyard. The barrier slowly dissipated after he went inside. 12 hours should be enough, Jiang Chen said as he watched Gu Hua leave. It was better to be able to go inside than not. As the two entered the room, Jiang Chen vaguely felt something calling out to him from the room on the left. As if possessed, he walked in. When he raised his head, he saw a portrait of a woman. Senior brother, why don't you go out first? Jiang Chen said after a moment. Bai Xiaoyun didn't ask and walked out of the barrier. But she was still paying attention to the situation inside, fearing that Jiang Chen would be in danger. Standing in the room, Jiang Chen looked at the portrait hanging on the wall, which confirmed his guess. It wasn't unreasonable for Black Sky Emperor to attack Chou Tianji when he was injured. Jiang Chen took out his mother's portrait from his storage ring. He brought it out from the overseas immortal tomb. It was obviously older than the one hanging on the wall. I didn't expect that even the green python and sky snake were my subordinates. Jiang Qin carefully took out the portrait and put it into his storage ring. He couldn't help but sigh. Of course, he admired his father more. I don't only have the Green Python Heavenly Snake Clan and the Sky-Devouring Golden Dragon Clan as my subordinates. Even those sects in the Immortal Graveyard, including a half-step immortal emperor like Murong Chantian, are very respectful to me. Even Bai Xianling is still dreaming of meeting me. But his father managed to get the beauty with his immortal monarch strength. Jiang Qin couldn't help but give a thumbs up. If it was him, he might not be able to do it. Junior brother, what's the situation inside? Bai Xiaoyan asked worriedly when she heard no sound from inside. Nothing, Jiang Qin replied casually. After rummaging through the room, Jiang Qin saw a wooden plaque in a cabinet. There was a piece of paper under the wooden plaque. Jiang Qin kept the wooden plaque and carefully picked up the paper. Young master, I knew you would come here. This wooden plaque is my gift to you. It is also the key to finding your mother. I hope you can reunite with your mother soon. Jiang Qin read this line of words several times. Phew! Exhaling a mouthful of turbid air, Jiang Qin folded the paper and put it in his storage ring. Chapter 1944. What's the situation? Seeing that Jiang Qin was a little depressed, Bai Xiaoyan quickly asked. Nothing. Jiang Qin shook his head. He wasn't going to tell anyone about his mother, not even Bai Xiaoyan. Did you find what you were looking for? Bai Xiaoyan asked. Yes, but it's useless. Jiang Qin shook his head again. Turning around, he glanced inside and walked outside. Bai Xiaoyan followed behind. Out of the boundary, Ao Ting and the others immediately surrounded him. Young master, the three from the Ice Lion clan have left the mountain valley, but Han Dong's character is not good and may cause trouble in the future. Walking to the front of Jiang Qin, Ao Ting said. If you want to, then go ahead. Jiang Qin didn't put this person in his eyes at all. Ao Ting still wanted to speak, but Jiang Qin and Bai Xiaoyan swept away in front of them. Watching Jiang Qin leave, the cultivators not far away also came over. Now that Han Dong and Jiang Qin had left one after another, there was no danger in the area of the Green Python Heavenly Snake. They could search for treasures without worry. 2 days passed. Jiang Qin arrived at the area of the Bathing Flame Phoenix clan. There were still many cultivators gathered here. Feeling Jiang Qin's aura, they all scattered, fearing that they would get into trouble. It seems that your reputation has spread in the southern region. Seeing those cultivators far away, Bai Xiaoyan said. Maybe. Jiang Qin had been thinking about the meaning of Chou Tianji's note, and had no interest in those cultivators. Until now, he had already obtained 3 wooden tokens. Although these wooden tokens were left by his mother, Jiang Qin didn't get any valuable clues from them. Jiang Qin only knew that his mother was in an unknown territory. As for whether she was in the vast wilderness or not, he didn't know. But with his current cultivation, even if he knew, what could he do? Even Bai Xiaoyan couldn't find any trace of his mother in the unknown territory, so he couldn't do anything. The only good news. His understanding of Black Sky Emperor was becoming clearer and clearer. Jiang Qin pondered. Just as he was about to enter to see if the Flame Phoenix race's patriarch had left anything good behind, he sensed Long Dade's aura suddenly weaken. This is bad. Jiang Qin thought to himself. This aura, is Brother Dade in danger? Bai Xiaoyan also sensed that something was wrong. It's in the west. Jiang Qin raised his head and looked at the endless mountain range in the west. He didn't have time to say anything else, and immediately rushed in that direction. Now, Long Dade was the only one among the few who had ascended to the immortal realm, and was found by him. Jiang Qin did not want to see him in danger. Moreover, even if he was really killed in the valley, he would not be able to take revenge when he returned to the southern region. He had to abide by the enchantment jointly constructed by the ancestors of the 6 great spirit beasts. Jiang Qin's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared from the territory of the Phoenix tribe. Even the cultivators in the boundary could not capture Jiang Qin's figure. Young master is in trouble! Aoting, who was not far away, also sensed Jiangchen. He immediately urged the immortal power in his body to follow. Tisk, he's even more respectful to Jiangchen now than to brother Aoheng. He stretched out his hand. The two descendants of the ancient Dharma Void Dragon tribe looked at him disdainfully. However, they did not dare to do anything and hurriedly chased after him. In the mountain range in the west, Jiangchen saw Long Dade. At this moment, Long Dade was sitting under a huge tree, leaning against the tree trunk and panting heavily. Dade! Seeing him like this, Jiangchen hurriedly went forward and pressed his hand on his chest, injecting the bloodline power of the Golden Dragon tribe into his body. Who did this to you? Bai Xiaoyun also rushed over and scanned the area. There were no longer any cultivators around. I don't know. Long Dade shook his head weakly. Is this the territory of the ancient Dharma Void Dragon tribe? Jiangchen asked when he sensed the familiar immortal power fluctuations in the surroundings. After I parted ways with you, I've been looking for the territory of the ancient Dharma Void Dragon tribe. I wanted to get a good weapon from there. I didn't expect to be ambushed as soon as I arrived here. I didn't even see the other party's identity clearly and ended up like this. Long Dade sighed deeply. If Jiangchen had not rushed over in time, he thought he would have died here today. You haven't offended anyone in the immortal realm, Jiangchen said after a moment with a frown. That means the other party is most likely targeting me. Do you have any enemies in the southern region? Bai Xiaoyun asked curiously. It's impossible for the ancient Dharma Void Dragon tribe and the Blazing Phoenix tribe. The Azure Python Heavenly Snake tribe even wants to enter the 10,000 Mounts Immortal sect. Other than them, we don't seem to have any contact with other tribes. Eldest senior brother, have you forgotten what happened 2 days ago? Jiangchen suddenly relaxed his frown and said, You mean the Frost Lion tribe? Looking at Jiangchen's expression, Bai Xiaoyun suddenly understood. Other than them, I don't think anyone else would dare to attack my people in the mountain valley. Sensing that Long Dade's injuries were serious, Jiangchen took out the last remaining pill from his storage ring and stuffed it into his mouth. After the pill took effect, Long Dade's complexion improved rapidly. Didn't Aoheng's subordinates say that they have already left? Bai Xiaoyun did not understand the situation. After his cultivation was suppressed to the 5th level of the immortal reverent realm, his perception was not as good as before. It was even worse than Jiangchen's. Aoting. They might have left, but they might have returned. Can you still hold on? Jiangchen asked as he helped Long Dade up. I've recovered a little. Sensing that the elixir was healing his injuries, Long Dade struggled to stand up and patted the dirt off his body. Since we're here, let's go in and take a look. As for the Frost Lion tribe, we have to make them pay a price. Jiangchen's lips curled into a cold smile. Whether it was in the immortal world or the lower realm, no matter who hurt the people around him, Jiangchen would make them pay the price in blood. This was despite the fact that the Frost Lion tribe's leader was in the 6th level of the Immortal King realm. The grudges in the mountain valley cannot be brought to the outside world. Let's not offend another clan because of me. Long Dade clutched his chest, which was still hurting. Didn't you want to find a suitable weapon? Let's go in and take a look. Jiangchen pointed at the palace in the middle of the mountain and said, What about you guys? Long Dade nodded and asked. We'll wait for you outside, Jiangchen said casually. However, while he was speaking, he had already spread out his perception. Chapter 1945. In the mountain range 10 miles away, he clearly sensed Han Dong and the others. As soon as Long Dade stepped in, Jiangchen and Han Dong disappeared. When they reappeared, they were already in front of them. Han Dong and the others were searching for treasures in the mountain range with other ordinary cultivators. As they had offended Jiangchen in the territory of the Green Python Heavenly Snake clan, they did not dare to go to the territory of the 6 great spirit beasts for fear of encountering this plague again. Therefore, they could create the illusion that they had left the mountain valley. After severely injuring Long Dade, they hid their aura and stayed in the mountain valley. In this way, even if Jiangchen could guess that he was the one who did it, he would never be able to find where they were. After leaving the mountain valley, even if Jiangchen took the initiative to seek revenge, he would have the protection of his clan. Moreover, the grudges in the mountain valley could not be brought out. Jiangchen could only swallow this grievance. Han Dong thought that his plan was very thorough. However, he did not expect that Jiangchen could find him. Jiangchen? Looking at the two people who suddenly appeared in front of him, Han Dong was shocked. You haven't left the mountain valley yet? Sensing the slight fluctuation of their aura, Jiangchen could be sure that Long Dade was injured because of these people in front of him. What a joke! When we leave the mountain valley seems to have nothing to do with you two, right? The mark on Han Dong's forehead gradually became clearer. He was ready to fight Jiangchen at any time. It does have nothing to do with us. But you hurt my friend. How should I deal with this matter? Jiangchen looked at the many cultivators around him and asked directly. What are you talking about? We have been here all along and never left. How could we hurt your friend's family? Don't slander us. Tell me, have I ever left? Han Dong asked loudly at the top of his voice. The surrounding cultivators did not dare to resist him and could only nod in agreement. Did you see that, Jiangchen? Hearing their words, Han Dong smiled at Jiangchen and said, Don't think that I can't do anything to you just because you have the support of the Phoenix clan and the Ancient Dragon clan. Hurry up and get out of my sight. Otherwise, my Frost Lion clan will never let you off the hook. The grudges within the Valley of Mountains cannot be brought outside, Bai Xiaoyan said with a slight frown. That's only for ordinary cultivators. I am the young clan leader of the Frost Lion clan. If you dare to harm a single hair on my head, do you think the clan leader will let you go? Thinking of the patriarch, Han Dong regained his confidence. He guessed that even if Jiangchen had a good relationship with the Flame Bath Phoenix race and the ancient Dharma Void Dragon race, these two races would not completely break off their relationship with the Frost Lion race because of a mere Jiangchen. I see. Jiangchen understood what he meant. Young clan leader asked you to leave, so you better get out of here quickly. Otherwise, once we leave the valley, we'll definitely teach you a lesson. The two clansmen behind Han Dong also scolded at the same time. These two are so arrogant. Bai Xiaoyan frowned slightly. This was the first time that cultivators below the Immortal King realm had acted pretentiously in front of him. If Jiangchen was not here, and if the Valley of Mountains had not suppressed most of his cultivation, he would have rushed up and beaten the three of them into submission. Eldest senior brother, if I kill him, do you think the Flame Bath Phoenix race and the ancient Dharma Void Dragon race will protect me? Jiangchen stared at Han Dong and asked faintly. They should. They are willing to fight with Immortal King Xianjun for you. A mere Frost Lion race's Han Shuangtian with a cultivation of the 6th level of the Immortal King realm is indeed not enough. Bai Xiaoyan rubbed his chin and pretended to think for a while before he said, Impossible! Han Dong's heart trembled. Immortal King Xianjun was one of the 3 immortal kings. The Jade Sword sect under him was one of the strongest immortal sects in the entire immortal world. It was said that he himself was a half-step immortal emperor. Although Wu Xian and Ao Zhan's cultivation wasn't low, they weren't on the same level in front of Immortal King Xianjun. How could these two spirit beast races risk being exterminated and fight with Immortal King Xianjun for Jiangchen? Han Dong recalled Xianjun's visit to the clan a few dozen days ago. When he felt the terrifying aura radiating from Xianjun, as well as the bearing of a superior, Han Dong couldn't help but want to bow his head and submit. Are we really going to kill him? Bai Xiaoyan was ready to make a move. Just severely injure him. The patriarch of the Frost Lion race's cultivation isn't bad. There's no need to offend such an expert because of this person. Besides. That's all. Jiangchen waved his hand before he could finish his sentence. He was worried about whether the Frost Lion race had anything to do with his mother. Of the 3 spirit beast races he knew, the Azure Python Heavenly Snake race was his mother's subordinate, and the Sky-Devouring Golden Dragon race had been exterminated because of her. The Frost Lion race in front of him. Perhaps they were once his mother's subordinates. Jiang Qin couldn't help but feel how insignificant he was. Based on the current situation, a third of the southern region belonged to his mother. Jiang Chen, if you don't dare to hurt me, then leave immediately. When he saw Jiang Chen standing there without moving, Han Dong felt more confident. He shouted at Jiang Chen, "For the remaining 8 days, I won't provoke you, and you can't hurt me. How about that? Are you negotiating with me?" Jiang Chen suddenly asked with a cold laugh. "What else?" Han Dong crossed his arms in front of his chest. "Out of respect for the patriarch of the Frost Sky race, I can spare your life, but—" Before Jiang Chen could finish his sentence, a chill spread from his body. The chill swept through the area. Many cultivators with slightly weaker strength sensed that the smooth flow of immortal power in their bodies had suddenly become blocked. This aura. Has Han Dong broken through to the immortal Duke realm? The young patriarch is really patient. I'm afraid he has the strongest cultivation base among the younger generation among the hundreds of spirit beast races in the southern region. Sensing the chill, the cultivators thought it was Han Dong's immortal technique. But soon, they realized something was wrong. Although it was immortal power of the ice attribute, it didn't come from Han Dong. They looked up at Jiang Qin, who was standing in front of Han Dong, with shock in their eyes. He's an immortal duke? Impossible. He's only at the 5th level immortal realm. But this immortal power fluctuation should only be possessed by someone above the immortal duke realm. Instantly, an uproar broke out. Even the cultivators who were outside of the mountain range were gathering in this direction. They wanted to see what was going on. However, compared to their shock, Han Dong was thoroughly enraged. Due to the special bloodline of the Frost Lion race, he wasn't affected by the extreme ice domain, but he felt a trace of familiarity from the immortal technique. Chapter 1946. Jiang Chen, how dare you steal our Ice Lion clan's top secret celestial skill? Han Dong became confident instantly. He pointed at Jiang Chen and scolded him loudly. What? I was wondering why this celestial skill felt so familiar. So he stole it from the Ice Lion clan. TSK, stealing celestial skills is a big taboo. Even if Jiang Chen has the support of the Blazing Phoenix clan and the Ancient Void Dragon clan, he's too unreasonable. If Patriarch Hu Xian and Patriarch Ao Zhan insist, I'm afraid the southern region will be angered. I thought he was talented. So he stole someone else's celestial skill. Brother, it's one thing to be talented and another to steal it. Even if the Ice Lion clan's top celestial skill was given to you, you wouldn't be qualified to learn it given your stupidity. In an instant, the entire mountain range was in an uproar. Some people were criticizing Jiang Chen, while others were defending Jiang Chen. Of course, most of them wanted to watch the show. They loved to see the farce between the 6 great spirit beast clans. If one of the clans was unfortunately annihilated in the conflict, their clan would be qualified to join the 6 great spirit beast clans. Is that Jiang Chen? Among the crowd, a few strong cultivators stared at Jiang Chen. They were the best of the Celestial Ape clan. It's said that Little Ape is following him. Should we help? Asked a skinny cultivator, whose cultivation was only at the 2nd layer of the divine immortal realm. It's a taboo to learn immortal methods in secret. Let's not get involved in this matter. Let them solve it by themselves. If Jiang Chen's character is questionable, call Little Ape back to the family. Don't follow this guy anymore, the person in front of them said in a low voice. After he finished speaking, the others closed their mouths and said nothing. You said this celestial skill belongs to the Ice Lion clan? Jiang Chen withdrew his immortal power and asked in a low voice. That's right. This celestial art is one of the secret celestial arts of the Frost Lion clan. Only the clan leader and the elders of the clan are qualified to practice it. Even I don't have the chance to touch it. Now that you can use it, how dare you say you didn't steal it? Han Dong sneered at Jiang Chen. He was originally worried that Jiang Chen would make a move on him, and was thinking of a way to escape from here. But now, he was no longer worried. If Jiang Chen really dared to make a move on him, it would mean that he had a guilty conscience. Even the Blazing Phoenix tribe and the ancient magic Void Dragon tribe would be affected to a certain extent. You secretly learned it? Bai Xiaoyun was also a little worried. I stole it, but not from the Frost Lion clan, Jiangchen said honestly. Jiangchen, leave the valley with me and go to the family to meet the patriarch. You have to make things clear. Otherwise, I'll send a message back to the family and have the patriarch come to see you personally. What do you think? Han Dong pointed at Jiangchen and said loudly. Look, this is the young master of the 10,000 Mounts Immortal sect, Jiangchen. He actually secretly learned the top celestial skill of our Frost Lion clan. Han Jing and Han Yi also understood Han Dong's intention. They turned around and said to the cultivators who had surrounded them. Jiangchen frowned slightly and did not refute. He knew that Han Dong would not deliberately humiliate him in front of so many cultivators. There was only one possibility left. There might be some relationship between Han Bingwang and the Frost Lion clan. Okay, I'll go with you. Jiangchen was not a person who was afraid of trouble. He also did not want to cast a shadow over the 10,000 Mounts Immortal sect because of him. As for what was going on, he would know after he went there. Be careful of their tricks. Jiangchen was a little worried. It's okay. Eldest senior brother, you take care of Long Dade in the valley. Don't let anything happen to him. I'll go with them. Jiangchen smiled and said, No. You've already formed a grudge with Han Dong. If they attack you in the Frost Lion clan, can you deal with it? That's the patriarch of the 6th layer of the Immortal King realm. Bai Xiaoyun was a little worried. Now that her master was in seclusion in the pavilion, who knew if she could come when Jiangchen was in danger? Gu Huo was also one of the 3 Immortal Kings and Jiangchen's master. But Bai Xiaoyun did not know him very well and could not completely trust him. It doesn't matter. Even if it's just for the sake of Hui Xian and Ao Zhan, Han's Huang Tian won't dare to attack me rashly, Jiangchen said in a low voice as he looked at Han Dong's complacent look. Jiangchen's firm attitude made Bai Xiaoyun unable to say anything. At the thought of how Jiangchen had managed to escape from danger, he agreed. Jiangchen, do you want the patriarch to personally invite you? Seeing that Jiangchen did not speak, Han Dong asked again. Then let's go. Jiangchen shrugged and replied in a relaxed tone. Under everyone's gaze, Jiangchen followed Han Dong and the other 2 out of the mountain valley. The Frost Lion clan was located in a remote area of the southern region. Like the snow region where Love Despair Valley was located, it was frozen all year round and swept by snowstorms. Besides the Frost Lion clan and a few Spirit Beast clans that cultivated ice, almost no one else came near. After a few hours, Jiangchen followed them to the Frost Lion clan. This was a sect that was completely built on floating ice. The entire sect was almost covered by snowstorms. If one did not look carefully, they would definitely think that this was a snow mountain. Standing in the snow, Han Dong did not take Jiangchen seriously. Jiangchen, I advise you to think about how to explain your immortal technique when you see the patriarch. Our Frost Lion clan takes stealing techniques very seriously. Even if Hui Xian and Ao Zhan protect you, you won't be able to escape punishment. Hearing Han Dong's incessant chatter, Jiangchen's ears were about to grow calluses. Han Dong had repeated this at least a dozen times since he'd first used the extreme ice domain, and was now standing in front of the Frost Lion clan's gates. Jiangchen sighed. He didn't pay any attention to him. He just walked into the sect. The members of the Frost Lion clan were all very curious about this unfamiliar cultivator. After living in the clan for so many years, they had rarely seen a stranger come in. Go and report to the patriarch that this person sneakily attacked our Frost Lion clan's top immortal technique. I discovered him in the mountain valley and captured him. Han Dong pointed at a member of the clan next to him and said, Young patriarch, that's not possible. The clan member did not immediately leave. Instead, he asked very honestly, Not many people from our Frost Lion clan come here to begin with. The top immortal technique is stored in the barrier of the technique's pavilion. Even you, young patriarch, were unable to break it. How could an outsider like him do it? That's right, young patriarch. If he really secretly learned it, would he dare to use it in front of you? Several clan members looked at Jiang Qun carefully, and stepped forward to voice their opinions. Chapter 1947. If I tell you to go, then go. What are you waiting for? Han Dong's face darkened as he scolded in a low voice. Hearing this, Jiang Qun couldn't help but laugh. He didn't expect the clansmen of the Ice Lion tribe to be so frank and even reveal Han Dong's background. Young Patriarch, it seems that it wasn't me who stole the celestial skill, but you. Bullshit, I didn't learn it! Han Dong shouted in a low voice. Then you wanted to steal it, but you didn't steal it. Jiang Qun laughed disdainfully. Even you, the young Patriarch, aren't qualified to take it. How could I, an outsider, take it away from the Magic Arts Pavilion, which is strictly guarded and protected by the bounded domain? Then where did you get the celestial skill from? Feeling Jiang Qun's ridicule, Han Dong couldn't accept it. If it weren't for the fact that his cultivation was far inferior to Jiang Qun's, he would have struck him with his palm. It has nothing to do with you. Jiang Qun shrugged and said. Now you're stubborn. When you see the sect leader, you have to tell the truth. Otherwise, I'll take your life. Han Dong knew that if he continued to talk to Jiang Qun, sooner or later, he would be speechless because of Jiang Qun. After being reprimanded by Han Dong, the clansmen quickly went to the main hall and reported the situation. Knowing that the celestial skill of the sect had been leaked, Han Shuangtian immediately rushed out and looked at Jiang Qun with his beastly eyes. Junior Jiang Qun greets the Patriarch of the Ice Lion tribe. Jiang Qun cupped his hands and said. After all, the person in front of him was an expert of the 6th-tier Immortal King realm. He had to give him enough face. You're Jiang Qun, the one who stirred up a storm in the southern region? Han Shuangtian stared at Jiang Qun and said. Although he had never seen this young man in front of him, he had heard some things about him. Not really. Jiang Qun smiled and said. Since you've come to the Frost Lion clan, you are our guest. Please come in. Han Shuangtian stared at Jiang Qun for a while. With his cultivation, he could naturally see that Jiang Qun had ice attribute celestial power in his body. What surprised him even more was that other than the ice attribute that he was familiar with, there seemed to be other attributes in this person's body. However, when he tried to sense it, Jiang Qun's body seemed to be shrouded by something, making it impossible for him to get an accurate answer. Patriarch, he's the one who stole our family's top celestial skill. We have to make him tell us where he came from. Otherwise, the entire southern region will laugh at us. Seeing that the Patriarch was so polite to Jiang Qun, Han Dong suddenly became impatient and shouted. How dare you! Am I the Patriarch or are you the Patriarch? Since when do you have the right to tell me what to do? Han Shuangtian turned around and shouted. Under this kind of pressure, Han Dong quickly shut his mouth. Little friend Jiang Qun, please come in and have a seat. Turning around, Han Shuangtian smiled at Jiang Qun and said. Sitting in the main hall, Han Shuangtian stared at Jiang Qun for a while and said. I can sense that you have ice attribute celestial power in your body. Why don't you join our Frost Lion clan? I'll provide you with the best cultivation resources and the top ice attribute celestial skill in our clan. What do you think? Jiang Qun was a little surprised. He did not know why Han Shuangtian was so nice to him. Patriarch Han, your young patriarch said that I stole your family's celestial skill and brought me back to tell you the truth. Moreover, I'm now the young master of the 10,000 Mounts Immortal sect. I won't join your Frost Lion clan. Jiang Qun looked at him and said in a low voice. Let me see your celestial skill. Han Shuangtian was going to talk to Jiang Qun before mentioning this matter. However, now that Jiang Qun had taken the initiative to mention it, he could not change the topic. I seal, Jiang Qun said faintly. After the seal was formed, an invisible chill spread out instantly. Feeling this familiar feeling, Han Shuangtian said. This is indeed our Frost Lion clan's celestial skill. Jiang Qun, the Patriarch, has already confirmed it. What else do you have to explain? You're not even a member of our clan, Yet you stole our Frost Lion clan's celestial skill. If we don't kill you, then what dignity does our clan have? After Han Shuangtian admitted it, Han Dong immediately rushed in from outside. He knew that he might be scolded by the patriarch. However, when he thought of how Jiangchen beat them up in front of so many people in the valley, his hatred for Jiangchen rose to the peak. He could not wait to ask the patriarch to kill Jiangchen. Han Dong, if you dare to do this again, do you believe that I won't lock you up for 100 years? Han Shuangtian took a deep breath and asked in a deep voice. This person injured me in the valley and wanted to seriously injure me in front of hundreds of cultivators. Now, he even stole our celestial skill. Patriarch, why don't you do it? Han Dong gritted his teeth and asked. Oh? You want to seriously injure him? Han Shuangtian turned to look at Jiangchen. Han Dong was the young patriarch of their Frost Lion clan. Almost 1/3 of the clan's cultivation resources were used on him. If he was seriously injured, then it would be a great loss to their clan. That's right. Jiangchen did not hide it and directly admitted. But everything has a cause and effect. If young patriarch did not seriously injure my friend, then I would not find trouble with him. Young patriarch, in front of the patriarch of Han Shuangtian, do you think this is the truth? Jiangchen, you. Han Dong could lie to Jiangchen, but he did not dare to lie to Han Shuangtian. However, he could not admit it. If he did, then he would be in the wrong. Still not going down? Han Shuangtian glared at him. Unable to gain any benefits, Han Dong could only leave with his tail between his legs. However, when he went back, he did stare fiercely at Jiangchen. He could not understand why the patriarch would treat Jiangchen like this. Little friend, can you tell me how you obtained our Frost Lion clan's celestial skill? After Han Dong left, Han Shuangtian asked. It's a coincidence. Jiangchen remembered that the eye-soul-chilling pearl was a secret treasure of the Love Valley, so he asked. I wonder if Patriarch Han knows about the northern region's Han Bingwang? Han Bingwang? Haha, you actually asked me if I know Han Bingwang? Han Shuangtian was stunned, then he laughed and said, Han Bing is my younger brother. Unfortunately, he died a long time ago. So Han Bingwang and Patriarch Han are related by blood, Jiangchen said in surprise. That's right. No wonder you could obtain our Frost Lion clan's celestial skill. It turns out that you obtained my younger brother's inheritance. No matter what, you have to join our Frost Lion clan. Han Shuangtian stroked the white beard on his chin. Chapter 1948. Jiangchen didn't expect that he still wanted to accept him as a disciple. Patriarch Han, I can't become a disciple of your Frost Lion clan. Jiangchen had no choice but to say firmly. And I didn't get the inheritance of Han Bing King. Oh? Then how did you get the immortal arts of my Frost Lion clan? Han Shuangtian asked. It's Sect Master Wang Min of the Love Valley. She got the inheritance of Han Bing King. Now that the sect has joined my 10,000 creations immortal sect, these immortal arts were naturally handed over to me. I took a look out of curiosity and didn't expect to comprehend it directly. Jiangchen smiled awkwardly and said, So that's how it is. Then I won't force you to stay. Han Shuangtian was obviously a little disappointed. He had heard a lot about Jiangchen. Even the fire-bathing Phoenix clan and the ancient dragon clan of Dharma Void Realm wanted to befriend Jiangchen. So, Ao Zhan naturally wanted to get close to him. He wanted to see what kind of talent and strength Jiangchen had that Hui Xian and Ao Zhan liked him so much. Patriarch Han, if there's nothing else, I'll return to the mountain valley first. Jiangchen got up and cupped his hands, preparing to leave. There were still 7 days left. Although there was nothing in the mountain valley that could attract him, he might still be able to find some treasures if he looked around. Wait. Little friend Jiangchen, I heard that you have now established the 10,000 Creations Immortal Sect. Seeing that Jiangchen was about to leave, Han Shuangtian hurriedly said. That's right. Jiangchen nodded. When your father was still alive, our two forces didn't have much interaction. Now that you have made the immortal sect reappear in the immortal world, I think our relationship can be closer in the future. This way, if we encounter any danger, we can help each other. Han Shuangtian rubbed his hands. He didn't look like a sixth-layer immortal king at all. Patriarch Han must be joking. With your strength of the sixth-layer immortal king, I'm afraid no one in the entire immortal world would dare to provoke you. Why would you need the help of our 10,000 creations immortal sect? But since I've cultivated your clan's immortal arts, I naturally won't be your enemy. If I can help in the future, I'll try my best to help, Jiangchen said with a smile. Then take care, little friend Jiangchen. I hope you can find the treasure you desire in the valley. Han Shuangtian took out a fingernail-sized stone from his storage ring and handed it to Jiangchen. This is the key to our Frost Lion clan. With it you can enter the Frost Lion clan's territory. There's a key? Jiangchen was a little shocked. If what Han Shuangtian said was true, then, when the mountain valley opened, the members of the 6 great spiritual beasts could directly enter their respective regions. As long as our Frost Lion clan has it. As for the details, I can't tell you. Han Shuangtian shook his head and said, Thank you, Patriarch Han. In the future, my 10,000 mounts immortal sect will owe you a favor. Jiangchen didn't refuse. Inside the valley, there were things left behind by the ancestors of the 6 great spirit beasts. There must be a lot of treasures hidden inside. It would be best if he could get it. As for favors, it was the heaviest thing in the immortal world. But to put it lightly, as long as he was thick-skinned, it would be useless. At that time, he could renege on the debt. I'll let the clansmen send you out. Han Shuangtian gave a look to the clansmen standing at the door. All of this, Han Dong saw everything. He didn't understand why the Patriarch would treat Jiangchen like this. Patriarch. Han Dong couldn't help but enter the main hall for the second time. This time, Jiangchen had already left, so Han Shuangtian didn't stop him. Han Shuangtian looked up at him and asked, You're not going back to the mountain valley? Jiangchen has already gone back. I'm worried that he will attack me inside. Han Dong gritted his teeth and said, Patriarch, why do you treat him like this? I've entered the mountain valley 10 times, but you never gave it to me. Next time, I can give it to you. Han Shuangtian said casually. Next time, all the good things will be taken away by Jiangchen. Even if I go in, what can I do? Han Dong gritted his teeth and clenched his fists in his sleeves. No matter what, you're still the young Patriarch. Don't be impulsive and don't be reckless. You have to consider the interests of the entire clan. Han Shuangtian sighed. He pointed to the seat next to him and motioned for Han Dong to sit down. He continued, You're so reckless. I have to consider whether to hand over the clan to someone else. Why? Han Dong's pupils shrank. You know that Jiangchen is the young master of the 10,000 Mounts Immortal sect, right? Han Shuangtian asked. I know, but the 10,000 Mounts Immortal monarch was suppressed in the Kunlun Immortal Mountain, and the Immortal sect no longer exists. Even if Jiangchen reestablishes it, it's still a low-level sect in the immortal world. Han Dong nodded. He still knew this news. Childish. Ridiculous. According to the news I learned, the 10,000 Mounts Immortal sect has now absorbed a large number of clans and forces in the immortal world. They have a good relationship with the Tianji Pavilion, the Immortal Mountain Overseas, the Ganges Bank, and the Heaven and Earth Pharmacy. He's even the new elder of the Bathing Flame Phoenix clan. Even the ancient Dharma Dragon clan respects him very much. Do you think he's just a newcomer who has just ascended to the immortal world? Han Shuangtian shook his head and smiled. He told him all he knew about Jiangchen. What? The more Han Dong listened, the more stunned he became. He had only heard about Jiangchen, and he had also learned something about him. But he was far from being as detailed as the Patriarch. So, Jiangchen can't be offended. We even have to be on good terms with him. Otherwise, once we stand on the opposite side of him, even I may not be his opponent. Han Shuangtian took a deep breath and said, Then I. Han Dong recalled the Patriarch's words, and cold sweat flowed down his back. But fear was fear, and he still wanted to kill Jiangqin. Not for anything else. Because he had always been able to get whatever he wanted in the southern domain. Everyone gave him face for the sake of the Frost Lion clan and Han Shuangtian. But now Jiangqin suddenly appeared and gave him a solid slap in the face. Moreover, it was in front of so many people, making him lose face. You and him becoming enemies is the worst thing you've ever done in your life. Han Shuangtian looked at Han Dong with disappointment in his eyes. He couldn't feel it before, but now that he encountered a big matter, he realized that something was wrong. Patriarch, I know I was wrong. I will definitely not provoke Jiangqin again in the future. Seeing that Han Shuangtian had the intention to abolish his young patriarch status, Han Dong quickly knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. You go and rest first. If you want to go to the mountain valley, then go. If you don't want to go, then go. As for Jiangqin, if you want to take revenge, don't bring your clan with you. Han Shuangtian waved his hand at him. He understood Han Dong's character of seeking revenge for the smallest grievance. Chapter 1949. Even though he was shocked by Jiangqin's strength, and took the initiative to admit his mistake. But he knew that this was all based on the premise that he wanted to keep his position as the young master. In fact, he still hated Jiangqin in his heart. I understand, Patriarch. Han Dong gritted his teeth and retreated out of the hall. On the other side, Jiangqin did not stop and rushed back into the valley. When he appeared in the valley, all the cultivators were shocked. What was going on? This brat secretly learned the Ice Lion clan's immortal technique, and he could still come back? Could it be that he killed Han Dong halfway? Impossible. Han Dong is the young master of the Ice Lion clan. How could he dare to kill him? I think it's impossible. Han Shuangtian would definitely know that Han Dong was killed. He would not let him come back. Then I don't know what happened. Those cultivators had been staring at Jiangqin all along, and they all started discussing him. Jiangqin ignored them when he heard their chattering. Instead, he dashed into the mountains. Everyone's gazes followed Jiangqin's figure, and they kept guessing what had happened. Eldest senior brother. Jiangqin landed on the ground when he saw the white figure. Did the Ice Lion clan make things difficult for you? Bai Xiaoyan quickly got up and held Jiangqin's shoulders with both hands as she sized him up. No, it's probably because of Clan Master Hui Xian and Clan Master Ao Zhan. But I didn't expect that King Han Bing was Han Shuangtian's younger brother. Jiangqin shook his head and looked at the palace in the mountain range. Oh? There is such a relationship. Bai Xiaoyan raised her eyebrows. But thinking about it, it's not a problem. Jiangqin sensed for a moment, and changed the topic. Has Bade not come out yet? No, he has gone in for an entire day and there is still no news. Bai Xiaoyan shook her head and said, But other than him, there are other cultivators who have gone in. These people are around Sky Immortal or Divine Immortal. They are not his match. Then I am relieved. Eldest senior brother, let's go take a look at other places. Jiangqin nodded and said, Bathed in fire phoenix race? Bai Xiaoyan tidied her robes. No, it's the Frost Lion clan. Jiangqin told him the truth. Han Shuangtian gave me a key, saying that I can pass through the barrier of their Frost Lion clan's ancestor. Could it be a trap? Bai Xiaoyan didn't believe it. If there really was a key, then Hui Xian would have already taken it out and given it to Jiangqin. There was no need to wait until now. Moreover, Jiangqin had just had a conflict with Han Dong. If he dares to attack me, isn't he afraid that Patriarch Hui Xian and Patriarch Ao Zhan will cause trouble for him? Jiangqin said with a smile. But let's go and see what's going on first. I hope we can get something good from there so that we won't have come here for nothing. That makes sense. Bai Xiaoyan pondered for a while and wasn't so worried anymore. Under the gaze of a group of cultivators, Jiangqin and Bai Xiaoyan rushed into the depths of the barrier. The place where the ice lions lived was almost the deepest part of the valley. Even with Jiangqin and Bai Xiaoyan's speed, it took them several hours to reach there. Then they felt the temperature in the world drop. At the end of their line of sight, they could vaguely see a large white hall. It was even grander than the current Frost Lion clan. TSK. Seeing the scene in front of them, Bai Xiaoyun couldn't help but say, compared to the Frost Lion clan, Chou Tianji's place is simply unsightly. It's just like the Mystery Pavilion compared to the Jade Sword sect. Jiang Qin couldn't help but ridicule. Before going to the Jade Sword sect, Jiang Qin felt that the Mystery Pavilion was alright. Although the sect was a little poor, it didn't matter. But when he saw the Jade Sword sect, the Mystery Pavilion was like a sect that had declined for tens of thousands of years. Cough cough, don't say that. You are now the pavilion master of the Mystery Pavilion. Bai Xiaoyun coughed twice. As they spoke, Jiang Qin and Bai Xiaoyun approached the large hall. Under the snowstorm, even though Jiang Qin had ice-type immortal energy in his body, he still felt cold. Even the immortal energy and blood in his body were faintly about to be frozen. As expected of the ancestor. Even the sect of the Mountain Valley has such a strong aura. If he was still alive, he would definitely be an expert. Bai Xiaoyun couldn't help but tug at her white robe and say, to be able to make his clan one of the 6 great spirit beast clans and stand out from hundreds of other spirit beast clans, he would definitely be an expert of this world. I'm afraid he would only be weaker than an immortal emperor, and be on par with the current 3 immortal kings. Jiang Qin also exclaimed in admiration. Let's go and see what good things there are in this sect. Standing at the entrance of the sect, Bai Xiaoyun felt the barrier that enveloped the entire hall. Hopefully, we can get something good from inside. Jiang Qin took a deep breath, then took out the stone from his storage ring and pressed it against the barrier. Soon, ripples spread out and the barrier gradually weakened. It's actually real. Bai Xiaoyun's eyes became fiery. In all these years, no one had entered the territory of the Frost Lion clan's ancestor. What did this mean? It meant that all the treasures inside were inside and none of them had been taken away by others. Slap. Thinking of this, Bai Xiaoyun slapped her forehead. Eldest senior brother? Jiang Qin was just about to enter. How many storage rings did you bring? Bai Xiaoyun was a little regretful. If she knew this, she would have brought out all the rich storage rings in the pavilion. Aya. Jiang Qin also sighed secretly. But soon, he felt relieved. As long as he could bring out the treasures inside, it didn't matter if he got the other things or not. Moreover, he came in with the key. If that Frost Day was interested and wanted to take a look inside, if she saw that he had cleaned out everything inside, she would probably mobilize the entire clan to find trouble with him. Jiang Qin wouldn't make such a strong enemy for himself. The barrier loosened and Jiang Qin immediately entered. Just as he passed through the barrier, snowflakes that were as sharp as blades blew over. Caught off guard, Jiang Qin's robe was cut several times. Jiang Qin hurriedly used his immortal energy to protect himself. If I'm not strong enough, even if I can enter the barrier, I'll die here. Bai Xiaoyun still had some lingering fear. She was only an immortal reverend now, so she had to be careful at all times. Let's go. Jiang Qin looked at the hall in front of him. Under the protection of immortal energy, although she wasn't injured, her speed was still slowed down a little. The two entered the hall with difficulty. Just as they steadied themselves, Jiang Qin frowned slightly. He felt the presence of immortal energy inside. The mountain valley had existed for at least hundreds of thousands of years. It wasn't possible that someone had stayed inside since ancient times. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.